Don't get cocky.
Ring, 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 hello, Sims. And also Virgin.
God damn it.
And welcome back to Krown's Magical Prediction Cave.
Oh, the Prediction Cave is back just at the right time because Bitcoin had a little bit of a pick-me-up in this early morning hours as the old inflation bug comes back into the talks, as we do have yet another global situation, the good old global flu that won't just go away, and apparently there's a new variant now once again. And what's the response to that? Don't fucking know about that. I'm no doctor, but I do know what the market loves to do, or at least what Jay Powell likes to do, is to turn on the old money printers and maybe not talk about that good old taper talk. I'm going to turn off the alerts for right now. I do appreciate everyone getting in here extremely early. That is fucking awesome. Holy moly, man. I see that there's already 1,000 people in here right now. 324 likes in this video, which is insane. Welcome and good morning, and major thank you for that. That is absolutely incredible. I am once again blown away. I don't know what to make of this, man. I don't know what to make of this. Anyways, with that said, we got plenty to talk about today. Follow up on yesterday's short-term time from analysis. We did get the bounce that we were looking for, but is this the bounce that we are looking for if you are bullish is the real question, and that's what we're going to be addressing today. Obviously, as is going to be a pretty damn big week to come. So with all of that in mind, I would like to wish you the best and the happiest, and let's get into it right now. Start off with the Krown Chain application, which of course can be found at app.krown.net. And holy fucking moly, man, I see so many people in here right now. What's up, Mr. Jack Frost? Elsa's in the house as well. I see you over there. God himself. God is here. Oh, this is great. God is with us. God is with us, baby. What's up, Mr. Bimmer? I see you, brother. Mr. Filson, as always, good to see you. And Charles Fucks, an OG of the cave. We got plenty of OGs in the cave right now. Philosophian, man, I don't think I can call out everyone's name today. It's insane. Cobius, welcome as well, man. I see a lot of new faces here. Grizzly Adams, welcome back, brother. Muralha, I recognize that name. And the Alchemist indeed. All right, let's get right down and dirty and deep into it. Yeah, how about that? Maybe I can not fuck up my words. Oh, Mr. Plums is here, and Christina Marina. I see you over there. All right, sweet. Let's get into it right now. What do we see on the Krown Chain application over here? Of course, it is a free application. You can find it in the link in the description below. And we do see that the fear and green index is still in the, rather fearful zone. Now, this is to be expected after Bitcoin essentially played almost a $20,000 move to the downside from its $69,000 highs without any real meaningful bounce, I would say. With that in mind, we do expect that this that this does kind of align with or at least help out the probabilities that we might be seeing a major low within the midst right here. We certainly have a low, but the question is, does this low get, or at least if we are looking for continuation, where are the likely targets, and does that matter for the macro picture more importantly? So with all of that in mind, the underlying market dynamics still, as we've been saying over the past few days here, more in alignment with a bounce short and medium term, and then the question is, can Bitcoin bulls bring it above the critical regions that we'll be speaking about soon enough. Anyways, as far as top 10 best coins go, I see this cloud. This must be a bad read. This thing's been on there like multiple days in a row. This cloud brick thing, I've never heard of it before, and it's apparently going up 100% every day. That's insane. The Sandbox, Gala, Wax, Engine Coin, Immutable X, Decentraland, Voyager Token, Loopring, and Flow, all with some pretty good gains right there, about double digits or more. Again, I don't necessarily know about that first one. I suspect that it might be a bad read. Anyways, into the market data tab we go. Again, as we have been saying over the past few days here, the global funding rate of essentially financing in line with what we do see on the fear and greed index does align a little bit more with the bounce here than not. We do see that global open interest is also taking a very slight downturn right there, and the global leverage ratio actually shaving off a little bit from its highs as well, but still in very, very critical territories. So if Bitcoin does want to get going, of course it can. There is plenty of liquidity, but right now, and as I think we had a conversation about this either yesterday or the day prior in the Discord. The global open interest would actually suggest, and I think we mentioned it on yesterday's video, or maybe the day prior than that as well, but the global open interest would actually suggest that a lot of these positions right here are shorts, and a lot of them are actually below about 59,000 bucks. So they will they perhaps could get tested relatively soon, and that is going to be an obvious pain point. So let's actually go right directly. Oh fuck, I forgot to talk about it. All right, yeah, we have a sale going on right here. we have a sale going on. Hey, we have a sale going on. I should let you know there. It goes until the end of the month, so there's another almost 2 days left. And I should let you know, I don't want to go too deep into it right now. Look, make sure that you watch the videos and accompany them. They're going to explain who they're for and who they're not for. A good general rule is that if you're on the fence, it's probably not a good fit. And also, how else can I scare you out of this shit? And also, it's going to take a long time. Yeah, that's right. It's not a fucking magic pill, huh? It's going to take at least a year, 2 years and a half on average. Yeah, some people do get a little bit there faster, and some people definitely take slower as well. And that also implies that you actually put in the serious amount of effort required. Okay, that's good enough for that. Let's get into it right now. Let's start off with the short-term timeframes right on over here for Bitcoin, and let's pick up where we left off yesterday on the very, very short-term timeframes, actually the hourly right here. So we were looking at some regular bullish divergence come off the lows. We saw several drives all the way up to, I believe, a 4-hour and maybe even a 6-hour as well. Let me just double check over here. Yep, we do see that, and what do you know? The 4-hour jewel did get its follow through as well, and we did get our first target at 55,500 met, and then of course, once that level was taken out, even on a wick, although I do kind of shy away from being aggressive like that, the next targeted region was around the $57,000 region on the 618 Fibonacci retracement. Now that is a bearish retracement, and so far Bitcoin is being held within that little block territory right there. So I don't really look at this as anything too interesting as it is right now on spot price action. However, CME has a bit of a different picture, and I do think that BULAs do have a chance here. Now, if you did watch my long-term analysis video from yesterday, I do still think that there are several concerning things on the higher term timeframes, but the BULAs are going to have a chance, as we've been saying, and this can be also averted. So at the end of the day, there's a non-zero probability of a million goddamn things, a million different things happening, of course, and we need to know what pivots actually mean something for price action. And for right now, Bitcoin obviously is operating on lower highs and will be operating on lower highs as long as we're below on spot price action, $59,000, and on CME, I believe about the same, 59,500. Or just a wick higher than what we saw on the 25th of November, specifically on CME. I would not use spot price action in this case just because I would definitely err on the side of caution right here. So for right now, yes, we do still have lower highs, and I think CME is actually CME's got a lot better of a setup right here, to be fair. Bullish divergence all the way up to a 4-hour, maybe even a 6-hour as well. Yes, indeed. I think actually even to a 12-hour. Yeah, we do have 1, 2, 3 drives in the making right here. It's actually rather good. And while we would have hit the easy target on that, it would imply that we will have a chance, or at least Bitcoin BULAs will have a chance here to actually take out that critical area on CME, specifically 59,500, or just a wick higher than what you saw on the 25th of November, which is 59,910. If one of those two conditions is met, I would be looking for at minimum a leg up towards your 61,500 local high, prior range highs right here, also in line with the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement. And what we now have, since we now actually have a local low on this price action at 53,500 or so, we can now draw, of course, a retracement on the fibs right here. And this is a bearish retracement, I should say, but it would imply that if Bitcoin does play out a little bit of a bounce, especially above 61,500, I would be looking for another leg up, still at about $63,000 US. Now, as long as Bitcoin is living below there, that is still technically your sort of bull trappy-ish zone if you are looking at this from a higher term time frame perspective. But again, I want to give bulls, or it's not I want to, look, the charts and price action is giving the BULAs a chance right here. And so if that area can be taken out, I will be once again talking about 80,000, 90,000 plan B sort of targets. Until then, just short-term ranges are rather obvious right here, but a lot can happen, obviously. Now, of course, let's go over into our momentum oscillators here as well, and several very important things did happen in the last 24 hours since we last spoke. By daily, the 2-day Stokes actually did cross the upside. And by the way, just as a little aside on spot price action for Bitcoin, the 2-day chart is significantly better than the daily. And on CME, the daily actually is just the one that's pretty damn good. But and actually, let's double check. Did CME cross to the upside right here? Yeah, it's gonna have a chance to do it today with any sort of a closure above 56,000 $6,000. So it's going to be a long day to go. Of course, if any sort of good old news comes out with the flu, then, well, might see that averted. But for right now, CME technically does not have it in, although we would have a rather good setup right here if it does happen, because you'd see a cross very much in the critical zone for the bears, and more importantly, volatility is starting to increase off the low. So we'd have volatility and momentum on the same side, and you'd have a very short-term time frame trend reversal. So it's still not going to be applicable in the higher term time frames. I still think that Bitcoin BULAs have a lot of work to do here, but they do certainly have a chance, as we postulated yesterday and the day prior, getting those early moves, which was obviously very paramount. and now we lead into today. And of course, on spot price action, we've already seen daily soaks across the upside. We spoke about this yesterday, and looking good right there. Also 12 hours, obviously going to be up as well. So we got RSI divergences all the way up to a 12-hour, and we do see momentum oscillators like Stokes turn up as well. So I do quite like this setup, but still, price action is king at the end of the day, and we've already had the easy move from this. We've already hit our very easy upside targets from the short-term move. Now's the time, at least in my opinion, to be waiting or watching or whatever the fuck. And actually, even if you go on spot price action over here, you can draw a little bit of a trend line governing our highs. I don't really care too much for diagonal trend lines, mostly because there's a lot of ambiguity from where you set them. At the end of the day, they should naturally line up with horizontals if they're going to hold any weight to begin with. But for right now, yeah, I do think that Bitcoin Bulas have the ball in their court, at least for the short-term timeframes. And if we do see, what would destroy this, essentially? What would destroy this? Well, certainly back down below $55,000, but would it be necessary to wait for something like that? I think that is probably unnecessary in this case. I'd say below about $56,000, even on an hourly closure, maybe just, $56,000 on an hourly closure. I would say that this is going to be confirmed lower high, and well, it's time to get ready for at minimum another move back down, probably somewhere around the CME gap, which is currently, or not currently, but is at about 54,500 or so. So I would be cognizant of that. Until then, I would give, I'd give the ball to the Bulas right here, as obviously, obviously they're a lot closer to reversing the short-term trend than the Beras for right now. So. What else did I want to speak about before we get into the comment section? Because I see that there's an absolute shit ton today. I want to apologize for all the people who put in comments really, really early, because I don't think that we're going to be able to pull them up, because that was like 2 hours before the stream started. I appreciate that. I want to sound appreciative, or I want to be appreciative, obviously, but at the same time, like, you fucking savage, man. You can just wait a little bit. It'll be a lot easier for us to pull it up. I think the first one was Ricky O, from what I saw, but I don't think that we can even pull up his chats there now. So fucking long ago. Anyways, okay. So what else do we want to talk about right here while we are on these on these lower term timeframes? Well, daily. CME, what do we have running over here? Yeah, no major signals to be aware of, except that the daily jewel for CME has lost its downside curvature, hasn't really gotten to like the major areas that I typically look for. Certainly can go lower than this, so it's not, this is not a signal by any stretch of the imagination, but at the very minimum, I do think that this bounce gets a little bit more continuation before we see the actual resolution. So I wouldn't get too excited until basically New York Stock Exchange opens up a little bit later. That's where I expect we're going to see like the actual price action. And on top of that, I also want to follow up on this one as well, as we did go over the PMARP over here. We did get our bounce off of the bottom side of this. So once again, this indicator has been pretty damn good at getting at least major bounces, and in a lot of cases major reversals as well. But I want to once again kind of go over this, just because I do think that is rather important. And actually, now that we do have this bounce underway, I do want to put this right in over here. And this is again going to play into the analysis, or at least I'm going to first present this, and then I'll kind of let you know right now. It's basically going to play into the analysis that Bitcoin very likely does carry out a bounce a little bit more than what we're doing right now. So let's go measure out the last few times, or like the last 5-6 iterations that we've seen PMARP levels this low, both in uptrends and downtrends actually, and just see what the results have been off of the initial bounce. So this first one right in over here that we saw in September on the $40,000 low, Bitcoin bounced up, almost immediately, about 20%, but realistically, we didn't even see a consolidation on the daily time frame until it was about 40% above that bounce. So rather significant, and definitely not very comparable to what we're looking at right now. The time before that we saw this sort of a similar read was way back on over here in middle of May, off of the old major dump, for the 50% dump from 60 to 30, and initially Bitcoin bounced up almost immediately, about 44% right there over the next 24 hours. Now, it did take another 3 months for it to get the old reversal, but we did not have any we didn't have any daily closures below our initial 19th May wick low. So that is what I kind of used to kind of judge if the range is actually breaking in this case, and that one did hold true. Yes, it got tested many times, but no closures below is the way that I look at it. And then what was the time before that? Right in over here. Now, this one is scary, because this is a lot more similar to what we're potentially looking at right now, if this is going to turn out to be bearish, which I still do think that there's good reasons to believe that there's a lot of downside threats here. But basically, Bitcoin bounced up at about 27%, which is significant, obviously. And not only did it bounce up that much, but it bounced up right into the bearish 618 Fibonacci retracement right there. And, well, as you know, as long as we are below 63,000 bucks, that kind of is your bull trap-ish zone. And that would be the equivalent of what we're looking at right now as well, if that comes to fruition. So that was a 26% bounce, even on a failure, even on a fucking failure on a lower high, and continuation confirmation to the downside. Same thing over here. This one, obviously, pretty damn good move to the upside, about 30% over the course of the next couple of weeks. The same thing over here, a couple weeks, and 46%, pretty damn good. This one over here, you know, initially I'd say this one got about a 40% move, a little bit of a short-term consolidation, and then obviously, you know, major continuation. And I'll just give you a couple more examples. I don't want to bore you too much with this one, but this one over here, getting into these same levels. Yes, it did take a long time, similar to what we saw over this month, or sorry, similar to what we saw over this summer, about 2 to 3 months in this case. But well, you already know. I mean, did essentially bounce about 35.5% before this little short-term consolidation right here. And, you know, again, long-term, it was just continuation. And then the time before that was, well, the last flu dump, actually, in March 2020. So you already know the results from that, pretty much immediately off the lows. 100% over the next like couple weeks. So fair enough. Anyways, let's see what we're doing right now based off of that same similar read. And what do we see right here? We do see that so far it's been about a 9% bounce. So would that be an outlier compared to the past statistics of these sort of signals? Fuck yeah, it would be. So I do expect that regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish, it probably does continue to bounce here. I'd still be looking at ranges as more important than not, but this kind of plays into the narrative that Bitcoin bulls do have, you know, a lot of things going for them in the short and medium term time frame. So we got divergences, or bullish divergences, all the way up to a 12-hour on the RSI. We got daily and 2-day Stokes turning up pretty much across the board on both spot and CME. Less so on CME 2-day, but that's not as important as a daily. And then also we have the PMARP over here suggesting that, well, if this is the bounce that we're looking for, which I do believe so, you know, based off these based off these similar reads, well, just under a 9% bounce would certainly be very much far away, even from the last major failure that we saw into a lower high, which was all the way back on over here in April and May, of course, which was about a 25 to 26% bounce. So I'm just curious, if we were to play around with numbers right now, what would that look like off of our current lows? Like if we just added, you know, 20% on top of our current price action, that actually puts Bitcoin at about 64,000 bucks. Which is interesting because that would actually even be above where I'm looking for if I am looking for a bull trap. So fair enough. And let's actually double check now. Do we have, no, we do not have, we certainly do not have regular bullish evidence possible on a daily. Wait, hold on. That's CME. Let's go look at spot price action. No, we wouldn't have it there as well. So fair enough. Okay, great. Now I do want to represent the other side well here, because again, as long as Bitcoin is below 59,000 bucks, it is still just another lower high. However, you know, we do see 4-hour Joule going with a pretty damn good signature right here, and volatility is continuing to expand. It is getting up there, but I wouldn't say it's in like a crazy area just yet. But here's the thing. If Bitcoin does stall out here, and if Bitcoin does put in anything resembling a high below 59,000 bucks, not only would it be, you know, just another lower high, which implies continuation of trend, we'd also have hidden bearish divergence of another drive right here, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 drives going on there. And that'd probably be good enough, or very likely be good enough, to get Bitcoin back down to essentially where CME closed on Friday. So that'd be about 54.5 or maybe even 54 even, depending upon the current premium over spot price action. So, you know, do be aware of that. It's certainly not a, you know, it's certainly not a given for right now. And I would call this one a local high. On a 4-hour closure below 56,000 bucks, it certainly, even an hourly, probably does it as well. If you want to be a little more aggressive, maybe around the 0.5 is okay. I don't know if I would do the same thing myself. However, that would be a little bit too aggressive in this current situation for myself, just because we are seeing a lot of conflicting signals, and in the short term, the boo laws are getting a little bit more of the love right there. Anyways, I did forget to look at the very short-term time frame momentum oscillators over here, of which we got 4-hour Stokes absolutely going to the moon, or very, very wrecked above 54,400. I'm curious to see if CME is the same thing, and it is not. It will turn back up and reject the bearish control zone with any sort of a closure above 56,900. Apologies on my apologies for Elsa laughing, because I know that really pisses some people off. What about the comments?
Oh my God,
Bit yeah. Okay, fair enough. But again, when it does come to Monday and Tuesday especially, while spot price action does have more, well, impressive momentum oscillators for Bitcoin right now, it's CME that has the significantly higher hit rate, in fact, significantly higher hit rate in my experience. And from my back testing. So the bi-hourly is also turning up on CME as well. So that is good. 54,900, or sorry, 54,500 is the magical number right there. Hourly is 58,250, and 12-hour is looking actually quite good right there, above 55. So I would say that a lot of things do probably ride on that $56,000 pivot, but technically speaking, if you are looking at it from a momentum perspective, 55.5 is kind of the area, I guess. Anyways, all right, sweet. We got 2,000 people watching right now. That is insane. I see that there's 1,000 likes on this video, which is even more insane. What the fuck? What are you doing right now? It's too late. You're probably in the Western Hemisphere. Go to bed. But for all of you crazy people, welcome, and good to have you here, obviously. But my God, this is just getting ridiculous right now. And again, major appreciation for all the support on these videos. It's fucking incredible. I'm just blown away by it. I don't really know what to make of it, and I'm still searching my words. But at some point, hopefully, I can articulate it in a much more grateful and generous way. Until then, I'm going to turn on the alerts, and let's see what the comments have brought us today. All right, where's Ricky O? Holy shit. Okay, I see. All right, yep. Yeah, I do remember that Ricky O was actually first. Holy shit, man. Wow, that was far away. Holy fuck. What's up, Zach Field? Let's see over there, man. Let's see. Okay, cool. Ricky O says Anchor, Ethereum, and Luna. Man, you got all three. Okay, dear Lord. All right, Anchor, this, I think that we saw this one on the winners list not so long ago as well, which is interesting. See where it is right now, as I don't think I've looked at it in a while, or at least when I did, it must have been at least back on over here, like early November, so early this month. Anyways, actually pretty damn good right here. You know, you do have your uptrend, especially as long as above 1375 or so. I do think that you're in a little bit of a short-term correction, however, short-term range. Corrections can come down to 14.5 cents, completely fine. No problem with that. What's going on over there? What's going on over? What the fuck? We have more. You now have 2,115 more views than a Joe Biden rally. Oh, sir. We're getting political today. Uh-oh. I shouldn't have done that title, man. I couldn't help it. It puts the mask on or it gets the inflation again. Fucking inject those inflation dollars into your bunghole, and girthy green dildos are going to flow outside of your veins into Bitcoin price action. That's exactly how it works. Hey, actually, in a more sincere tone, look, I understand that inflation is going to be absolutely fucking terrible for the majority of the world, and hopefully this can be averted, because that's going to be very, very painful. Unfortunately, change typically does not come without severe crisis beforehand. Anyways, I am getting way off topic right here. Yes, a little bit of a short-term consolidation. Corrections down to 14.5 cents, completely fine. Even on a daily, a little bit lower than that is, like I said, to 13.75 is completely fine. Overall, this one is looking pretty damn good right here. The question is it more ready than not? And I suspect that based off daily volatility, we're getting way up there at 90 percentile. I don't think that it's ready just yet. I do think that it spends a little more time consolidating, but the big bad area to be aware of, obviously, is basically almost exactly where we're at right now, at about 17 cents. Above 17 cents, I'd be looking for this one to not just retest all-time highs, which it's actually kind of already done based off of this signature over here. Very likely does go for a new all-time high party, and this would be, this is just one long-form accumulation over here. It does look generally good. And then also you're looking at Ethereum. Yeah, we can definitely do Ethereum. I'd like to record this one as well. In fact, Ethereum is probably the more interesting and obvious chart in comparison to Bitcoin. So let's record this one. Here we have Ethereum, symbol ETH versus the dollar, and what do we have? We do have a drive of bullish divergence alongside a few drives of hidden bullish divergence coming in this whole complex potential low over here. Now, with that in mind, my sort of my potential strategy, my main trading strategy, which I refer to as the Krown cross, you can refer to it as whatever the fuck you want. You can refer to it as Krown is stupid, but I don't know why that would be relevant or why I even said that. But basically, as long as you're above the 55 in this case, I do look at this as still a healthy correction, so to speak. Now, that also does imply that, especially if we start to see the 9 exponential moving average cross to the downside of the 55, that would be your first major etchings of in this case, a macro reversal, as we already have a lower low and a lower high. However, we do have a very obvious chart right here, and this last 24 hours of price action was very significant with essentially reclaiming not just 55, but also all major moving averages right here. And we are doing this on low volatility with momentum also is turning up, and even the daily jewel still has positive curvature. It is not supported by DMI. If I saw that signal, at that point, I would actually be very confident in calling this one bullish. Unfortunately, we do not see that right now. So what is the most obvious trade right here? It's actually quite simple. We do have, or at least I have a, I do have a nice daily range between basically your high at 45.50 and your low right here, which is not for this time frame, but in this case, it would be about 4,100. as long as you're also in between there, technically speaking, should be considered healthy-ish consolidation for boo laws. However, you will notice that the 618 Fibonacci tracer from the ultimate high to this low structure right here is right around that 4,500 number. That would imply that if you do get back above this region, not only have you, gotten above what I typically refer to as the bull trap-ish zone, you'd also be taking out the prior high on this, so you'd have a reversal at the same time as well, alongside, well, a higher low right on over here. I would call this macro bullish and looking for moves back up towards 4,800 plus. And again, this is all coming on low volatility. So this whole correction has been on declining volatility. Let's see. What about the 2-day? Yeah, the 2-day looks actually quite good right here, reclaiming all major moving averages. Even has a drive of hidden bullish divergence. That's pretty much, I wouldn't say it's definitely confirmed, but it's very likely to be confirmed, although we do have another day of trading left to go. And I imagine on momentum also, as we probably are, we certainly are pointed up right now on 12-hour Stokes, above 4,000. So looking good, I would say, from that perspective. Daily is also giving you upside momentum and rejecting the bearish control zone as long as above 41.65. If we can just see volatility start to tick up alongside this, continue outside of the bearish control zone, that would be actually quite powerful and something that I'd definitely be paying attention to right now. Very short-term time frames like a 4-hour are getting up there, 4,100 on the 4-hour, and hourly is flippy-floppy at 43.40. So let's go down to the short-term time frames now and see where corrections can come down to without destroying the current setup. And I would say that short-term, it's kind of similar to Bitcoin, right? In this case, as long as you're above your short-term range highs, which would be right here, and sorry, I do have too many lines on this chart. We really only need a couple of them right now, which would be 41.90. I do look at this as, probably more or less fine as, well, it does look more or less fine right there. Below there, I would at least look for another move down around your $4,000 lows. And at that point, it's going to start to look a lot more like a breakdown. But until then, momentum oscillators are painting a little bit more of a bullish picture. I just want to see really above this 4,500 high, and that would look really, really good for a retest of pretty much your prior all-time highs and general continuation on the macro scale. Let's also go look at it from this angle over here, because we do have a monthly closure coming in tomorrow night, by the way, tomorrow fucking night, in case you didn't know. And what do you know, on the monthly Challenger bands, we're gonna have Ethereum, Mr. Beaterall, is going to have a chance to close above the top side Krown band, which would imply, of course, volatility expanding alongside trend continuation, obviously, in this case. And, well, we already spoke about momentum, so that would look pretty damn good. Then that would be met with a closure above 4,400 and very likely imply new all-time highs in December. So I do want to match this up just very briefly with this, because I know that this is probably going to be asked a little bit later. Ethereum Bitcoin chart. Again, I think that this chart is probably one of the more important charts in cryptocurrency land right now. It's probably one of the more painfully obvious ones. And any sort of a break above the topside structure of this, I think it's more of a formality right now, to be honest with you. But we would have a technical target all the way up to, about 9.2 to 9.5 million Satoshis. And as we went over in yesterday's video on the macro scale, it is important to recognize that, or at least what we showed, is that the macro direction of this asset right here, Ethereum versus Bitcoin, the macro direction has actually accurately gotten all of the macro direction shifts, or the macro breakouts and breakdowns in Bitcoin, and by extension the greater cryptocurrency landscape. So breaking above this region right here, would be good enough, at least for myself, to call just general continuation on the whole market. And bull traps very unlikely to happen if that condition were to be met. It's very close. Still needs to close above about 7.7 million Satoshis, but it is right around the corner right there. So I do quite like that, and hopefully that was helpful for Ethereum versus the dollar. And maybe I should offer up, did I do an invalidation? Yeah, I did. Below 41.90. That would invalidate the short-term setup. Hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for Ethereum, sir. Nice one, man. All right, and you're doing Luna as well. Okay, we can just briefly look at Luna. I'm curious if Luna's held up well recently. I haven't looked at this one in a while, and I suspect it's probably not a good sign if people aren't asking about it. And what do you know? Actually, pretty damn well right there. Salvaging itself right at our 3880 support right there. Beautiful. This one actually looking quite good. And in fact, this one, if you're making an allegory between this one and Ethereum, for example, you kind of already popped above your 26th of November spike high. So is that going to be a front runnable signal that Ethereum and the rest of the market does something similar? This is just another higher low right here, or at least we have bullish divergence come off that as well. I'd still like to see this one actually break above 51.90 on a daily, and then yes, I'd be looking at least for a retest of, in this case, your all-time highs, and very likely continues on with the new all-time high party. As what do we have right here? We have essentially a hammer dildo right at basically your highs, alongside extremely low volatility. So this is, again, still to be considered a more or less healthy consolidation. I would say that this one's wrecked and looking for big moves to the downside. I want to say big moves to the downside, probably back down to like 34 and a quarter. If you do start to see moves back down below about 42 and a quarter. But for right now, man, this one's in a lot better of a posturing, and hopefully that's helpful for Luna Sir. Cool. All right, let's see. Kathleen White, good morning to you as well. Back in Puerto Rico. Nice, where it's 2 a.m. Holy fucking moly, that's way past my bedtime. Can you please look at sand? Yeah, we can definitely do sand. I know that this one's very popular. It's gone on an absolute tear. We called a correction on it last week. We got a correction on it last week, and now it is going once again. It looks like, holy shit. That is just insane right there. All right, here we have Sandbox symbol, S-A-N-D. Is that actually the name? I don't know. I'm going to guess it's Sandbox. Anyways, whatever it is, we got a correction that we were looking for. I believe it was last week. And now what do we have? We actually have a decent, a very good response off the lows. And we do have a nice little trading range right here, of which I'd be charting it like this. While we did hit the top side of the range, I would be looking for a pullback from this region. Again, pullback is not a reversal. I only get bearish on this one below about 6 1/4 on even a 4-hour closure would do it for me. Until then, this one actually has a decent setup right here long term. I don't necessarily like I said, know if this one's or think that this one's ready like right now. But if I do see a closure above your current high side structure, which is about $8, preferably on a higher term time frame, then I would be looking for an extension towards, Jesus Christ, man, like $9.5, $10 after that. I mean, this is just insane. This is just an insane chart right here. Now, I should say that I do think it's a little bit less likely, as we do see extremes on volatility. We do see that daily RSI. Well, we've already played out the bearish divergence from that, so there's not really a move to be made right there. What about 5 day? 5 days continuation. If I'm looking at the 5-day chart right here, I think that this one actually probably continues within the next 5 to 10 days. Can we pull back again to the lower level of that? Yeah, but I wouldn't invalidate. I really have no reason to invalidate this as long as you're above 6 1/4. Maybe we can just briefly check it out over here as well. But that one does paint a rather interesting picture. I know that sounds crazy. That thing's just been on such a tear, but I mean, we had a nice correction last week. That was pretty significant as well. Yeah, daily turns back up above 810. So if if we do take out the top side of this region, of the structure, then we'll also see momentum turn up at the same time. So yeah, I guess I would be looking for a move towards $9.5 to $10. It sounds insane, but fair enough. I guess send it once again. 12 hours already turning up above 720, so that's looking good for right now. 4 hours already way the fuck up there. 5 day, never crossed down. Weekly, never crossed down. It's going to be upside postured as long as we're above $5. That is one powerful chart, man. So again, short term, I do expect that it does range a little bit more, but I have no reason to invalidate this one as a general good setup as long as above 6 1/4. Still, validation above $8, especially on a higher term time frame, is going to be what's required, at least in my opinion, to to be looking for the next major move. But looking pretty damn good right there, and hopefully that was helpful for Sand, sir, or ma'am, actually. Good morning to you, Preston Rorich. Mr. Vince, good morning as well. CKB USD. I remember this one was good last week. Or was it good last week? Yeah, Nervos. Yeah, okay, yeah, Nervos. And was it good last week? Yeah, it was good last week. Hey, not bad. We almost pretty much hit our target right there. At least the first target was met. This next one, I mean, generally good here, as long as we are especially above about 2.72 cent right there. I do look for this one to trade sideways and up outside of this range. Actually, in fact, just using this last 4-hour lows is good enough for me on a 4-hour closure below there. So that would be about 2.8 cent in this case. If short term, it does look like it wants to trade a little bit more sideways here and consolidate. In short term, very likely continues on with a little bit more of a pullback, but I don't really have a reason to invalidate this one on the breakout, especially as long as you're above that region. If you do lose that region, I would be looking for another correction down somewhere around about 2.5 to 2.4 cents. Until then, long term, I'm still looking for the technical target to be met, which is pretty much per all-time highs. I mean, this is still, I guess, good. I guess good. Yeah, 5-day looks pretty damn good right here as well. 5-day RSI back in the bullish control zone. Yeah, and weekly had a phenomenal closure. Yeah, short-term pullbacks are fine. Long term, I'm still looking for continuation here, I guess. Very similar to Sand. This one's gone on a nice run, but this one not as aggressive, obviously. But again, be aware of where the invalidation is, but for now, still good, sir. Richard says PYR on the 4-hour and daily, if you please, and thank you. Sure, man, and thank you for those very kind and considerate manners. What was it? PYR? Yeah, PYR. This one's been getting okay. So I don't really interact too much on Twitter, on crypto Twitter, but I do watch and like a voyeur, and this one's been getting a lot of love there, and I guess for good reason. I mean, this is pretty damn good still, I suppose. I'm looking for reasons to not like these things, but all I'm seeing is reasons to look for continuation for, right? I mean, this thing closed on new highs on volume and pretty much held, most of its gains. I guess I really have no reason to be bearish on this thing, especially as long as you're above about 31.40 cents. Short term, you could see a little bit of a, maybe another back test around there, but even on the 4-hour time frame, it's not looking like that, man. This one is just putting another reaccumulation formation right here after the general breakout out of your more short-term range. Actually, I need to recolorize these because shouldn't be that color right now. I was doing that for the prior video. There we go. Yeah, a breakout above about $40, and I'm looking for, oh my God, 43.5 to 45.5 target. Powerful chart. I would invalidate again below about 34, basically 34 even on a 4-hour no, that wouldn't even validate it. Yeah, below about $32 on a 4-hour closure, I would invalidate this one. Until then, this one's still chugging its way upwards and onwards. So we hit our first target we hit our first target right here. We hit our second target right here. Hit our third target right here. Guess this one's gonna have another one soon enough. So I guess I'll just mark this area off, and we can probably come back to it later this week and see if it does fulfill that. But maybe I'm being a little bit too bearish on this one too. Maybe it's more like, hey, oh, you bastard, that's not the one I wanted to use. Oh, well, whatever. You know what I'm talking about, 45.5 or so. We'll come back to it perhaps later this week. What's up, Mr. Dan Henderson? Mr. Henderson, good morning to you. LCID on the daily and weekly. I've been, thank you for not being a piece of shit shill simp. I'm just a simp, that's all. Sometimes a piece of shit as well, according to who you're asking. But yeah, man, don't really need to, it's actually really crazy. I do want to do at some point, without like pointing out names or anything, just show my email inbox of all of the constant emails I get for promotion on shit, And it's crazy what people will kind of sell out their channel for. I'm guessing you're talking about Lucid Group on NASDAQ. Anyways, you are looking at a daily and weekly. Okay, daily, weird closure right there. Weekly, probably more in line with the pullback, but long-term bullish. Wouldn't be surprised to see this thing come back down and test around $40.50 yet again. Yeah, daily was kind of a weak closure right there. I'd at least be looking for a move down to 45 to 45.25, very likely a short-term bounce. I do think that this one pulls back, personally speaking, a little bit more than that, somewhere around low 40, but long-term, this one is actually quite bullish. We got I think you asked about this thing like maybe in September or something. We got the breakout way on over here. You've already retested your current all-time highs. So in this case, I typically look for a pullback, but long-term, very likely continuation after a more prolonged consolidation within this region. So it's good. Just I do think that this one consolidates a little bit more before any sort of continuation. Mamba for Life says Sand USD. I think we got that one and are recorded. So good there. LIT USD. Okay, LIT. This is a new one. Litcoin. Are they trying to? It's lit. Hey, bro, it's lit. I gotta tell you this like fucking weird story from Twitter yesterday. Okay, so I was perusing around crypto Twitter, right? And I follow this guy. I forget exactly who it is, but I don't know, he's just a guy on Twitter, I guess. And he liked apparently this porn star's picture on Twitter. And so I went down the Twitter rabbit hole, and it's like there's literally like just straight up porn on Twitter. And so these porn stars or like OnlyFans people or whatever, they'll go on Twitter and they have like these humongous following, like humongous, like absolutely massive. And all they do, and they literally post like very racy and pornographic pictures, and they're great at marketing. They're fucking phenomenal. And what they do is, or at least what this one very highly intelligent lady did, and she is very intelligent because I mean this was obviously a great idea. She posts a picture of her of her tits basically, and she says, "Is anyone horny right now?" And that's not the fucking joke. It isn't even a joke. This is real. This actually happened. And then underneath that, it's comment after comment after comment of, "Yeah, I'm horny. Yeah, very horny right here. Going back home right now. Oh yeah, baby. Yeah, babe. I'm horny." It's like these guys are in a relationship with her on Twitter. It's like, "Yeah, babe. I'll be right there for you." It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? "Yeah, babe. Super horny right now." "Yeah, babe. Also feeling quite horny as well." It's like, what the fuck? Anyways, Litcoin, huh? Let's see. I actually want to write this one down. This one does look quite interesting. Anyways, what do we have right here? Okay, so Litcoin breaking above your sort of daily range in this case. Definitely a lagger within this market, but you do see a lot of things kind of taking late steps. And we do have essentially one long form accumulation right there. which we will have a very likely technical target. I'm gonna guess it's probably gonna be right around your prior highs, and what do you fucking know? It is around your May breakdowns at least, as we typically do see within this market. And I would be looking for a general target of about 9.25 over time here. Short term, are we consolidating still? Yes, a little bit of a consolidation after breaking above your daily range highs. Great. Moves to the downside can come down to like 5.25. That's completely fine. As long as you're closing 4 hours above there. I look for this one to trade sideways and up outside of this range with that target in mind, and that'll be the next major area. Upon validation above there, be looking for another run towards basically your prior all-time highs. In validation, again, I think we already kind of went over this, but basically below about, I don't know, $5, 5.25. Hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for Litcoin, sir, and bless you, sir. Bless you. Anyways, let's see. All right, great. All right, let's see. Oh my God, I am way... Okay, there we go. Found it. All right, sweet. And you're also looking at DAR USD for Mr. Mamba for life. DAR. Okay, DAR USD. Okay. Don't know. Never seen this one before. I mean, not much history here, but it is okay, I guess. Let me just... I need to write some of these down. Hold on. I'm gonna open up another tab. This is the way to do it. This is the way to do it, sirs and sirs. All right, let me just pull up the comments over here. Okay, we got that. All right. Yes. I've done it. Okay, this is way better actually. DAR. Especially good on the 4 hours, as long as you're above about $3. You do hold your uptrend right there. Wouldn't get too excited about this thing as long as you're below about $4.50 above there. I'd look for this one. I mean, it's obviously already going to be at new all-time highs, but that would be like the breakout area. Until then, short term looks like it wants to pull back a little bit right here. Anywhere down to 3.5 short term is completely fine. In fact, like I said on the 4 hour, I mean, anything above $3, just another higher low. So I do respect that. I just don't think that this one's ready. Kind of similar to a lot of the other ones that we looked at today. It's it's got a good setup right here. Again, as long as the invalidation does hold. But short term very likely takes a little more time going sideways, and that's where I get excited right there. At that point, probably looking at a move, just doing some bad mental math, about $6, so it's about a $1.50 range right there. Anyways, let's see, what else did I miss? There he is, Mr. Almasari, Storage USD. Yeah, so we've been following up on this one for the past week. I remember last week it had a decent setup. Let's see if this one is still looking okay and still looking quite good, at least on the 4 hour. Yeah, still looking quite good on the day. Oh, nice. We hit our target around the prior all-time highs. Beautiful right there. And short term, this one actually is still looking pretty damn good right there. So I would have an invalidation on the short term setup, meaning that I would essentially invalidate short term, medium term bullishness below about 244, even on a 4 hour closure. Until then, I'm looking actually for this one to trade sideways and up back around your prior all-time highs. Of course, can't really get too excited about this one for like the big bad move that a lot of other coins are putting in until you actually get above that region on a daily closure, specifically, maybe even a 12 hour as well, above 373 essentially. At that point, this one's probably going to go on a pretty mega rally. Let's actually just see. Let's do it like this. This has actually been working really, really well recently. So we're at the 1.618. Getting a little bit of consolidation there. Upon break above your, basically above your prior all-time highs, like I say, I'm looking towards a first target of $5.50 in the following week or two. It does look pretty damn good right there. Again, we see a lot of charts that looks very, very similar to this, and a lot of them are completing those moves. Gemini Athlete says Matic 4 hour and daily and 5 day. Okay, cool. Yeah. See where this one is. I remember last week it salvaged itself at like the exact last moment that you'd want to see it. And let's see where it's holding up for right now. And basically same thing. It even gave you another test down around there too. Jesus, man. Very similar, in fact, to Ethereum's sort of more short-term time frame range. Looking at this right here, back above, of course, 193. Very fucking good. I'd be looking for a move basically around the prior highs of this rally, 2.25 to 230. And at that point, is this already all-time highs? Yeah, it pretty much is all-time highs. And again, I do look at this as more likely to be a bullish setup right here. Now, invalidation is very easily had below about 150 on a daily closure. This thing's probably going to get sent back down 1.25 to 130, somewhere around there. But until then, I do like the way that volatility is starting to rear its head a little bit. I really just want to see this one pop back above your last rejective highs. That would look really, really good. Until then, you do have a higher low in place. Just want to see it actually follow through. I think you also asked about a 5 day as well. 5 day looks fine to me. In fact, the 5 day would have me definitely looking or at least leaning towards an upside resolution just above your last 5 day high would be good enough in this case. At that point, I'd be looking for a retest, basically your all-time highs, and again, kind of similar to the other ones, I would still be waiting for a break above your all-time highs, about $2.50, and at that point, I think we've already done this one. $3.50 or $3.75 is kind of where I'm looking for on the over the following weeks. Would look pretty damn good, man. Cyber says, Cis USD chart. Good morning from Northern Finland. Hey, awesome, man. So you're in maybe Lapland? We've actually, we typically go there every winter to do a little bit of snowboarding and skiing. But unfortunately this winter, well, looks like it's not gonna be happening, man. But really cool place, man. Really do enjoy it. And quite good here. I was not expecting to see this. Is this Syscoin? It is Syscoin. I remember this one from 2016, 2017. Wow. So it did survive, kind of, at least retesting its all-time high, so it can't be like super bad. Still, I wouldn't get too excited about this one, although it's looking pretty fucking good here, to be fair. And to actually officially close above this 78-cent region, at that point, I'm looking for this one to officially test your prior all-time highs, which is about 107. And then very likely, pulls back somewhere right around there and then probably continues onwards and forwards. We see many things in the market, do something very similar to that. And what do you know? Weekly Jewel actually has a pretty damn good signal, which started in early to middle of November. Volatility is still increasing right there. To me, or at least in my experience, that does suggest that this signal has more to go in this case. So that is actually looking quite good. Should offer up an invalidation. Obviously, that would be below very simply 53 cents. Even on just a wick would look pretty damn bad. So until that happens, this one actually looks like it's more ready right now. Hidden bullish evidence, multiple drives on short-term timeframes. Yeah, volatility is high right there, but I expect that you're going to see a 100 percentile move. So I think this one actually could even put that move in today, maybe around the time that U.S. markets open. That's typically where we do see most moves. Just by the way, I did a statistical analysis of this within the first, cryptocurrency markets in general, for the actual moves and volatility is very highly correlated with about the first hour and the last hour of U.S. market open and close. Anyways, Chaotic Rage says CRO daily weekly. Yeah, let's check this one out. So this one we called a top at about $1 last week. See if it's still holding right there, or if this one is charging back up as many of the other things that we've looked at today are. And it is. Holy shit, man. That is fucking wild. That is fucking wild, man. That is just incredible. Yeah, this is actually about as good of a response as you could get. We did get our correction down to 60 cents or 65 cents, so I was looking a little bit lower than that, but that's fair enough. This is good. I'm going to record this one. Here we have crypto.com, symbol CRO versus the dollar. And we did get our pullback based off the test of $1 from last week. But this one actually still looking pretty damn good here. So I do think it might even be sufficient to say that correction is probably over. Now, this obviously comes with an invalidation. That's going to be below about 64.5 cents. If that invalidation condition is met, I am looking for moves down to 52 cents. Until then, I'm actually looking for this one to trade sideways and up outside of this range, very likely with another test intraday here at around 85, maybe even 90 cents. Still would hold off on getting super excited about this thing as long as you're closed in higher term timeframes below about 95 cents. Above there, however, I guess I'm looking for another run up towards 115 to 120, 1.25 essentially. And realistically, I'm not looking for like macro highs around that region. I'm probably looking towards the 2.618, if anything, which is 139. Would very likely imply some time taken, like, at least like a week or so, probably more like 2 weeks upon validation of that. But just to check it out over here, I'm curious if this aligns with this and if this is more likely or not. Weekly turns up back above 103. Okay, pretty damn far away from that right now, but fair enough. 5-day remains with downside posturing as long as below 81.5, but we are still within the bullish control zone. 5-day closure is not tonight, but I believe Wednesday night, actually, at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Daily is going to turn back above 111. So again, higher term time frame is still corrective. Short term time frame is like a 4-hour, are going to turn back up here above 78 cents. So I do think it's going to have a chance. Sideways here is obviously good for the Boolaws. I'd really only turn bearish on this one and look for a deep correction below about 64.5 cents. At that point, yeah, big corrections, but for right now, holding this range right here is actually quite good. I just think that it takes more time. The higher term timeframes still seem to be, unraveling a bit, but the lower term timeframes suggesting that this is a healthy consolidation first and foremost. So hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for crypto.com, sir. Sweet. All right, nice. Let's see. We got Mr. Rajan Ali. What's up, brother? ALBT. Yeah, let's check this one out. I remember this one was going through its own correction last we looked at it. Let's see if it held the lows and if it's actually rallying off those lows as well. And let's go over here to the daily. It is once again on the lows. Needs to fucking hold right here, essentially, but it is right there. So as long as it does hold that region, I am a lot more inclined to say that it very likely bounce. Where would my invalidation be and where would I get actually officially bearish on this one? Not exactly where I had it right there. It'd be right here, and that would be below 67 cents on a daily closure below there. Very fucking bad. Looking for basically a wick fill around your 31st of October lows, also in line with your August consolidation over here as well. I'm not necessarily saying that that's going to happen. In fact, I do think that this one will bounce off this region. And again, long term, as long as you're oscillating between about, what is it, 70 cents essentially, and in a $1.02, this is good. But just like the other charts, I do think that this one is going to be spending a lot more time within this sideways range here. You know, if it does pull through to the upside, it's not going to be happening anytime soon. I don't think so. And probably does give you a few more tests down around that 6-7 cent region. I want to see some drives of a minimum bullish divergence on a 4-hour time frame, of which it is actually building up right here, to be fair. So do you have to respect that? In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 drives. So probably one more test around, you know, maybe one more wick to the downside, and then gives a bit of a bounce maybe later this week. But overall, as long as you hold the 6-7 cent region, I still don't look at this one as bad. Just going through a more prolonged consolidation here, which is okay. Just wouldn't get too excited about this thing, as long as you're especially above a $1.02. If you want to be super conservative, I'd say 123 in this case, but as long as it holds those regions, good. King Cosmic, there he is. Holy shit, man. It's good to see you, brother. Oh, man, I know exactly what you want. I know exactly what you want, baby. And no one's been asking for it. You know what? Lazy-ass Punklandia is going to like this. Oh, lazy-ass French fuck's going to like this. Yeah, I hope his girlfriend's listening right now, too. Yeah, you hear that? Oh, you French people drinking too much goddamn wine and having fun with your life. Wake up and do something useful. Sorry, I don't mean to sound like your dad, but... Wow. Yeah, this makes me not so generous with Bitcoin right here. So, of course, if traditional markets do correct, do we expect a correction on Bitcoin as well? Most likely, yes. Now, while Bitcoin doesn't necessarily always fall to the upside versus traditional markets, it does like to fall to the downside against traditional markets. So, you know, what do we have right here? We do obviously have a high. We had a weekly bearish engulfing dildo. And we were getting our first bounce off the 9 exponential average. That's fine. But we do have bearish divergence right here. Volatility is taking up. I wouldn't be surprised to see a leg down towards about 4,500 on SPY futures and a big bounce somewhere right around there. Daily, you know, kind of hard to love as long as you're below. This is not helpful. Let me go down to maybe like an hourly. Okay, hourly has a little bit of a reversal going on right here, so that's fine. Inverted head and shoulders, yes, confirmed above about 46.45 it looks like. And I'll be looking for a general move probably somewhere around, I'm going to guess, like 46.80 perhaps? No, a little bit higher than that, actually 4700. That would look really, really good. That would suggest correction over. Yeah, look for news today. Look for news today that what should you look for on news today? Should look for news today that the new flu is not that bad, and that'd probably pop it back up, something like that. Or, by the way, oh man, I need to let everyone know this because you might not know this. It's just not public. It just doesn't seem like it's getting too much rounds in the public like talk right now. But the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, I think it starts today or tomorrow. That you need to fucking look into that. It's amazing. It's fucking, well, it's not amazing. It's actually very terrible and sad, but there is a why is that not being spoken about? There's so many interesting things going on with that. Anyways, if I had to call this one right now, I do think that this one does correct lower, to be honest with you. Monthly closing tomorrow, you know, has 1 day left, or basically 1.5 trading days left to salvage itself, you know, and until then I'd really be waiting for the monthly on this one. But I can tell you where to turn around on this. I don't think, look, if this does play as an inverted head and shoulder and fulfills this target at 4,700, this will not be bearish, obviously, but I'm inclined to say that it probably does not play like that. In fact, I'd actually be looking at 46.60 as a real resolution. Technically speaking, you do have it in right here. I don't think it's going to work like that. Above 46.60, that's where I think things start to change around on this particular chart. Until then, I'd really be waiting for the monthly closure on this one because it would be quite nasty to close as a shooting star dildo alongside, yeah, we would have a small drive of bearish divergence right there and a bigger one coming in from January 2018 highs, although I don't think that that's too applicable here. And also volatility coming off of extremes here as well. So yeah, I'm going to wait till tomorrow until I actually like put some more legitimate analysis on that one. Until then, you know, today, if it reclaims 4,700, that'd be fucking great, obviously, but long way left to do that. Anyways, let's see. What else do we have? Mr. Stoney. Mr. Stoney, nice name. Luna, we already did that one very early, so I'm thinking you're probably already good there. I'm going to take a sippy sip of this water, and we'll get on to Mr. Kelton Scott after that. Oh, there he is, African Crypto Warlord. What's up, man? Uh-oh, he dropped the C word. I can't repeat that one. Flu variant from South Africa means it's gonna steal your car and put a gun in your face. Not normal symptoms. Oh, you fucking genius, man. Hey, what's up, Nikki Page? I see you over there in Arbiter Media. Good morning to both of you. And Haplon, what's up, man? It's been a long time. And Lou Ferragno, it's him. It's Mr. Hulk. Kelton Scott says, would love to see your analysis on R Fox Labs. Okay. I'm guessing this is a stock. No, it is not. It's a fucking crypto, of course. Of fucking course, it's a crypto. All right, well, let's bring it up over here. It's not bad, actually, from the monthly at least. Daily, pretty damn good right here, in fact. Actually, quite good indeed. This is rather a surprise, but let me just write this one down. I like following up on these altcoin charts to see if they actually do complete their formations. Look, you are retesting around your all-time highs, so it is quite likely to see a little bit more of a prolonged consolidation right here. Wouldn't be surprised to see this one get one more leg down to 22 cents or so. Although let's go down to the low-term time frame and see if that kind of aligns with that. Low-term time frame is actually short-term bullish as well, so it is showing continuation from here more likely than a pullback first. Hidden bullish divergence drives the whole way through, and we do see that volatility is trending above 50 percentile right there. So I would invalidate the short-term setup below 23.5 cent. I would also validate a breakout towards, in this case, new all-time highs above 37.5 cent. It looks like even on the 4-hour closure probably does it for me. And let's just see what would be the areas of interest long-term, just out of curiosity. Upon validation, okay, that's actually can't be right because that is not, yeah, that's not aligning properly. So it must be going off this, which actually gonna have even higher targets. Kind of crazy. Anyways, I guess next target would be like 78 cents over the following couple weeks, and above there, $1.20 to $1.50. That's fucking insane. Look, I don't feel comfortable with that. I'd want to see a daily closure on new highs first, but until then, short-term timeframes actually do suggest continuation. It's a little more likely short-term than not. So fair enough. I think maybe I'm being a little bit too conservative on a pullback first. Anyways, fuck Rose says, hey there, Krown. FTM, please. Yeah, sure, man. Did it go above 2.5 this week? I mean, certainly you should be able to tell that for yourself, right? Just look at the chart. I also saw a question earlier. I forget who it was, but it was very early on in the stream. Someone asked, what's a good charting software if you live in America? Look, charting software is not going to be like geo-locked. TradingView is great, man. I use it in America, I use it in Europe, use it even in the Middle East as well. It's great. But what do we have right here on FTM? Did it get above 2.5? No, it did not get above 2.5, or at least not since we not since we talked about this major area right here. It's 255 actually. But range on the lows right here, similar to a lot of the other charts that we've seen. Look, as long as it holds the range lows, I should be a little more on the bullish side because this would be your next higher low right here. Actually, it'd be your third higher low. In fact, so you got low, higher low, and potentially higher low right here. But again, I while that is obviously better than having lower lows, no shit. I still wouldn't call this one resolved until you're back above this spike high right here. What's going on? Oh my God, it's snowing. Motherfucker, it's snowing. It's so difficult to walk around when it's snowing here. Anyways, oh my God, we have 1,500 likes on this video. That is, it's too much, man. Take those goddamn likes off. It's too much. So again, I do see that this correction is coming on declining volatility. So I'm inclined to say that it probably does get resolved to the upside, or at least it's healthy on first pass, but in validation again below about 190, and in validation above about 255, or just a wick higher than what you saw on 25th of November. And then I'm looking for a retest basically of your prior all-time highs. At that point, how does the weekly look? I'm still a lot more inclined to say that the weekly has at least another week or two of going sideways at minimum. I mean, these are just extreme reads right here. Like, is this thing really gonna continue from where we're at right now? Monthly says yes. Monthly does say yes. So fair enough. It does imply that this thing probably does make a try in December, but I don't think it's probably going to be ready at least in the next couple of days, and probably more like middle of December if I had to guess. Just be aware of where the invalidation is, because this one does have a lot of concerning things. But hey, if you break above that prior high, well, I kind of do have to be bullish on that one. It's not that I have to be. I mean, it would be. Ed Becca wants to look at storage. We already looked at that one, and it looked pretty good from what I remember. Tom Struck says, best of the best as you as well, man. In Tasmania, I only know Tasmania because the Tasmanian Devils. Is that a real thing, by the way? Power on the weekly. Holy shit. Power. I remember this thing because fucking Superman, who I first listened to when I started to transition into this space, he was talking about this thing. Little did I know that it was a shitcoin at the time. When did one of these just fuck moves, 90.5% to the downside. Now almost at break even, but pretty good here actually. In fact, pretty good here. Look, we have the monthly closure coming in tomorrow, right? So do I think that could we do this on a daily? Yes, we could, but the monthly is just so fucking obvious right now. Look, if you close the monthly on new highs above 67.5 cents, I'm looking for this one to work its way back up north of $1, in the next couple months. This would look very, very good. Daily, can we make a validation condition on this? Certainly we can. It'd be above your current wick highs at about 95. Well, that's not helpful. Yeah, that's just not helpful. I'd say on a closing base about 80 cents in this case. Yeah, you do have another drive of hidden bullish evidence about to be populated right here with any sort of a confirmation of a local low. That'll be confirmed with any sort of a closure above 71.80. So that'd look good. Obviously, invalidation on a bullish setup here below about 51 cents, which is not helpful. This thing just has humongous ranges. I guess that's kind of the price you pay if you're gonna play the old shitcoin roulette over here. But it does look good for what it's worth. Could you see a pullback down to that low 50-cent region and still be fine? Yes. So that's kind of where I do have my invalidation right there. I think the monthly is just a lot more obvious, to be honest with you. And do we have a signal on the jewel? We do. All right, so fair enough. Probably going to be okay. Volatility continued to expand. So yeah, I probably do look for this one to break out to the upside, probably in December. Not bad. What's up, Zanny? Zanny619. Man, you are jacked, sir. You're respect. USD on the daily, please share, man. We haven't looked at this one in like a couple of weeks. I guess it's fallen out of favor, hasn't it? Yeah, and I can see why. It's definitely a lot more weaker in its current structure than most of the rest of the market. Anyways, corrections down to 30 cents are completely fine, but I do think that this one's ranging at best for a little bit of time. Again, you hit extremes over here, you hit extremes over here. You do have bearish evidence on the weekly RSI. Now, you could argue, and I would agree, that you've already played out the majority of that move. If you do get another correction to the south side, it would be about 30 cents where I'm looking towards. I don't really get bearish on this asset long term, though, as long as you're above basically 30 cents or a quarter in this case. Until then, short-term timeframes like a daily in comparison to that, which you asked for, I wouldn't get too excited about this one short-term as long as you're operating below, I guess I already have it charted, below about 47 cents in this case, or 46.5 cents, sorry. A daily closure above there, and I'd be looking for this one to retest range highs. That would make it look a lot better. Until then, I do think that this one looks a little more corrective. However, short term, we're getting a lot of signals that it at least tries. It at least tries here. Multiple drives of bullish divergence short term. So at minimum, I'd be looking for this one to work its way up to like 41.5, 42 cents. Again, that doesn't really do too much for it just yet. Above 46.5 cents, that's where I get a lot more excited about this one. Until then, ranging at best and would look a little more corrective to me. But if the rest of the market's going to put in that similar move, will this one do the same thing? Probably yes. So difficult one. Big Boy George says, Key Aura Krown. Hello, sir. Good morning, man. Hey, man, all good, brother. Yeah, man. Look, the market doesn't move in straight lines, and obviously there's gonna be updays, there's gonna be down days, and that's what it is to be a trader, man. It's just roll with the fucking waves right there. Anyways, down like hey, just a nice positive message, man. Man, you Kiwis have some very explicit expressions. I like it, man. Kind of similar to Finnish people. Finnish people have the most bizarre and amazing expressions, and I can't even repeat them on this stream here because while I'm happy to say many things, they say the words that will actually literally get you banned from the old YouTubes there. BCat says Adam daily and weekly. Sure, man. We got Cosmos. We haven't looked at this one in a very long time now. I think it kind of fell out of favor because it's been consulting for a long time now. Still holding its range lows though, so I can't really hate it right here. I'd be looking at this one as it's a validation of a breakdown essentially below about 25.5 bucks. Looking for big moves down to $20.5. Until then, ranging around the lows is okay. It's not obviously strong, but I just don't want to see a break below there. We see a similar setup on most other altcoins here. So is this one more likely to break down or break up? I mean, if I'm looking at the weekly, it is more likely to break down. Just point blank period. It is more likely to break down right here. And targets would be like that low $20 to $21 region. And that would look pretty damn good. Long term, this is still a great chart, right? It's just a general uptrend, but we have multiple drives coming off, multiple drives of bearish divergence, that is, on the weekly coming off these highs. We got extremes on BBWP. The hopium on this one is that you reverse right, or that you just basically do not initiate the validation for downside continuation and pop back above your rejective highs from 22nd and 23rd of November and close above 32.5. If you do that, that'll look really, really good for another retest for your all-time highs in this case, and probably continuation from there. Until then, I would be leaning towards more correction on this one. But again, the rest, the market goes with each other, right? And most things in this market are actually not looking like that. Most things in this market are actually looking like they do want to at least test the tops out of their short-term, medium-term ranges here. Cool. Peter Lackstrom says, NCR, Neo's credit. That sounds really legit. Sounds super legit, man. Okay. Looks like that is not on TradingView, at least versus Okay, I see Neos credits versus XDAI, whatever the hell. It's on HoneySwap, and man, this thing goes multiple days. This thing has gone like a week without trading at all. Literally zero volume. Absolutely nothing. Look, man, I don't think I have a good opinion or any relevant opinion on something like this. A healthy amount of I don't know is the proper response to a chart like this. I can tell you what you already know. It's an uptrend, but how confident can you be in an uptrend that literally has zero fucking volume? It doesn't trade for days. I think that this thing is, look, there's a lot more obvious charts in the world. This would not be one of them. If the rest of the market goes up, look, if Bitcoin ticks up here, this thing's going to tick up as well. Very, very likely. But other than that, I don't think I have any useful or helpful analysis on this because I would not trust it myself. I mean, look, man, it doesn't need to be like this. It doesn't need to be like this. It seems like, again, you know, I guess I'd be looking for a continuation of trend, but how much do I trust that? Not much. Not much at all, man. Let me take another sip of this water, man. Oh, man. My throat's already feeling a little bit. There we go. There we go. Arbiter Meteor says, get out, there's no 24-hour volume. There's not just no 24-hour volume, there's no weekly volume, sir. It literally has zero on the day for multiple days in a row. Actually, yeah, tea might be good for today. Thank you. George Michael P said, hey man, appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that very much. And thank you. And good job on escaping this shit show of a country. You know, I never want to sound like I don't like America. I do love America. Obviously, I want to be appreciative of where I was, you know, where I was brought up and everything. At the same time, I don't want anything to do with it right now because it just seems like the whole country is, you know, at each other's throats, and a civil war honestly seems, it doesn't seem like it's a possible result. It seems almost likely at this point. It's really sad to see, man. It's really fucking sad to see. So hopefully the American spirit lives on. Maybe not in America, maybe somewhere else, but it seems like America's kind of got a lot of issues right now. Anyways, EXRD on the hourly and 4-hour and daily. Sure, man. EXRD. Okay, so this is Radix. Okay. All right. Let's try this one. Well, I guess it's good. I mean, not really much to go off of right here, but I guess it is okay. Do we have anything that's obvious for right now? No, I don't see any divergences on a daily. Maybe a 12-hour is going to show some. Still no. I do look at this as likely a low right here, and we can probably play it as a range low. So in this case, I guess I've charted this one before. Oh, and it's still working. So you know what, we're going to run with that one. 37 cents on a 12-hour closure. As long as you're above there, I do look at this as, I guess, healthy and likely to trade sideways and up back to the top side of your 12-hour range at about 52 cents or so. Above there, I do look for this one to obviously go on another macro rally. Below the invalidation, I look for this one to correct heavily, all the way down to 25 cents. Until then, sideways is good for the Bulas, and this is looking a lot more like a healthy correction than not, with declining volatility throughout this whole move right here. Momentum oscillators are showing, you know, more of a corrective phase rather than a reversal phase for what it's worth right now. But again, be aware of where the invalidations are. What's up, Goofy Dude? Good morning to you, man. And another OG of the cave. IYO. What is that? Does that mean in your opinion? I don't know these acronyms. I'm gonna guess that's in your opinion. Is stop loss hunting something that retail investors, aka dumb money, really needs to use as risk management? And how best do I reduce risk? Okay, this is a great question to record for a philosophical video. Is stop loss hunting something that retail investors really need to use as risk management? Okay, that does not make sense as a question, because stop loss hunting as a concept is when you get shit like this. I mean, in this case right here, this is actually perfect. This is actually a perfect example where you get wicks below your range lows. Let me actually record this. All right. Here we have a great question by Mr. Goofy Dude, and I'm going to have to rephrase this question a little bit, but basically his original question is, in your opinion, is stop loss hunting something that retail investors really need to use as risk management? Okay, I believe we need to define terms because that doesn't really make sense. But I think your real question is, how do you best reduce risk? Okay, so stop loss hunting, what exactly is it? Well, a lot of, the people who actually move these markets, they know that most people read the Trading Book for Dummies book, and where do they put their stop losses? Usually below the prior low or above the prior high, depending upon whether you're long or short, right? So in this case right here, we actually have a really good example where you see that the range lows on a closing basis is about 37 cents even, but you get some wicks below that. And what are those essentially trying to do? That is what the stop loss hunt is, just kind of grabbing liquidity from people who have their stop losses below this region, but it's not a break of structure right here. So that is the important, that is one of the important reasons why one of the reasons why it's important to understand why what structure is and what it looks like. And in this case, we have it right here. So what would be a better way to avoid that, or as you say, reduce risk? Well, this is why I like to have closures as a as a condition for managing risk. And in this case, if you were looking for a closure below this region, you did not get hit off, or you did not get hit on that, obviously. Now, if you are looking for a wick to manage your risk, which again, if we're looking at an hourly, it's going to be massively different. It'll actually be way back on over here. Obviously, that's going to incur more risk, but maybe it's better to do an example on Bitcoin because altcoins are going to be naturally illiquid anyways, and just makes it more difficult. And here we have a great example on Bitcoin, right? Here's a range of lows. You get a few wicks, or you get one wick below, no closures below, all good. And well, that's fair enough. In fact, do we even go below this wick? No, we don't. Yeah, we don't. And the other way that I like to do it, it's a little more aggressive, but it does need to be done just because you will encounter these situations. Just better to be safe than sorry in my experience. Like one of the most important things, obviously capital preservation, as everyone says, but it is true. But your first major wick low on the range, so that would be this right here, that can be a more expedited way of doing it. So I'll typically have like a stop market below those regions. Those are more apt to being taken out, especially if they're not like these deep ones that you see in this particular case. But if it's going to be a good one, this is actually a really good example right here. You'll basically see a big volume spike on that first major drive down, and then you will see that actually there are no wicks below that afterwards. This one gets very close, but it is not lower actually. So, it is important to kind of have those in place because you really don't want to leave your bunghole ripe for the taking if the market decides to actually break down in those cases. But remember, the market is a game of liquidity. So what's the best way to grab liquidity? Hit people's stop losses, or also get people into breakout trades, which a lot of people are probably marketing short around this region, or maybe even on all these drives to the downside, anticipating a break. But did it actually happen? No, we did not have a break of structure in those cases. So a lot of the times that's why, I very much avoid breakout trading, but it's better to be safe than sorry in my experience. You'll have a lot of slow bleeding if you kind of trade like that, at least in my experience. So hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for that, Mr. Goofy Dude. Cool. Zach Fields says, not here for free cheap TA, just turn you on for your voice in my ear holes like smooth jazz. I like it, man. I'm going to take a sip of this tea while you marinate on those words, sir.
Today we should stop the super chat 9:30 because
Okay. All right. So like another 10 minutes or so. All right. Yeah. We're going to shut off the super chats in like 10 minutes. Obviously, we'll do all the ones that get in before then, but we don't want a situation like last week where it's just like, it's too fucking long, man. Greg Usler says, TVK on the daily and 4 hour. Sure. Been charting this for a month. Just no problem, man. Okay. Well, let's see what we have. I don't think I've looked at this one, or at least it doesn't ring a bell for me. So maybe Binance is one to go to. You're looking at a 4 hour and daily. Got it. I quite like this one right here, and I guess I have charted it before because you are above your daily range highs. In fact, that happened way back on over here. It's been charging up ever since. This one actually looks like it's probably more ready than not, similar to a lot of the other better coins that we've seen today. Daily, multiple drives of hidden bullish divergence. I'm actually gonna write this one down as well. What is it? TVK. The fuck are these things? The fuck are these things, man? I still want to see an actual official break above your current top side structure, which is about 47.5 cent. Above there, I would be looking for a nice leg up, somewhere around your May highs in this case, at about 68 cents or so. I imagine that probably is going to be confluent with one of our major fibs right there. And what do you know? It's going to be right around the 1.272. And because this is one massive ascending triangle implying reaccumulation right here, upon validation above the upside condition, well, yeah, it's pretty much the same target as well. Above that at that region, I would be looking for a pullback. And how long does that take? Probably at least a few days, probably like a week. I'd be looking for a pullback from there, and then consolidation, and then move above that 68 to 69 cent region. I'd be looking for big moves up towards basically a buck. But you do have a decent setup right here long term, I do think. Yeah, five days about to close both the range highs as well. Pretty damn good. In fact, I think that it already did. Just having a consolidation short term. How would I invalidate this one short term? Below 37.5 cent in this case. Until then, short term, just holds the uptrend right here. It's trending in all time frames. That's good. It's actually quite good right there. I wouldn't be surprised to see this one give a try this week. Not bad, man. Not bad at all. I'm going to take another sippy sip. Got a mouthful of ginger there. Ugh. Yeah, thanks for that. Eyes are watering down, man. It's not good. Good morning to you, Vanessa L. Is the size of the bearish bullish divergence relative to the size of the move if it plays out? No. Or let's define terms here because I'm not sure exactly what you mean. But let's say, I need to find an example. Okay, we don't necessarily need an example, but do you mean like the exaggeration between the highs in this case? Not necessarily. The amount of drives, however, does. So if you get 2 drives, I'm typically looking at minimum for a test to the 9, maybe a test to the 21. For a 3, I'm looking typically for a test to the 21. And for 3 or 4, then you could start to talk about tests to the 55, maybe even full-on reversal. Is typically the way that I look at it. Luke Doyle says Cardano USD. Oh man, someone was going to ask. Man, I knew someone was going to ask about Carderpio. Oh dear Lord. Oh dear Lord. Carderpio. Where is your Herpio? Back at 150. Well, it looks like it finally put in its fucking low. Jesus Christ, man. What a piece of garbage. Wow. Honestly, if I'm looking at the weekly, I think it's going to give you at least one more test at 150 as well. Let's see. Anyways, got multiple drives of bullish evidence on the 4-hour time frame. Very likely does extend the short-term rally back up to like 167, 168 region. I'm still long-term, long-term I'm going to hate a chart like this, obviously, as long as you're, we've just been marching this one down, but I guess now as long as you're below about $2, 210, I'd still say 210, not this area right here. I don't think that would be good enough. It's just been such a weak chart here for a long time. But look, you're on major areas now. You're on the weekly 55. You're probably on the monthly. Yeah, you're on the monthly 9 as well. If it does start to break below 150, on a daily closure, I guess I'm looking towards a buck, $1.10. Jesus Christ, man, this thing is just awful as far as charts go. But, short term, very, very bouncy here. Look, it's going to require a very strong, broad market for this thing to do anything, it seems like. So, if Bitcoin shows any weakness, I'd be looking for this one at minimum to give another test towards 145 to 150, a break below there on a daily. And I'm looking for this one to move its way sideways and down towards $1.10 over time. It's probably going to take a while, but for right now, the monthly, I think it's still, concerning. And we do have 1, 2, 3 drives of bearish divergence off the highs. We've corrected down to the 9. Okay, that's good. If it does correct a little bit more, yeah, $1.10. Very weak. Very, very weak. Again, needs a strong broad market, and I would not call any reversals here. I think realistically, you got to be really careful on this one. I would not call any reversals personally until this thing gets back above 210. Until that happens, Look, it's probably going to put in a low at 150, but I do think that you're going to test it a few more times. So probably is going to rally off 150. I don't think it's actually going to break, but fair enough. Mr. Legend LVZ says, I can't stop farting. Yeah, that's me after I eat some dairy, man. It's really bad. Really, really bad. Imagine you're me and you don't know that you have lactose intolerance until you're like 30 and you've been eating and drinking milk all of your life and wondering why you clear rooms every time that you do.
And then you eat pizza.
And then I ate pizza, man. That was a trip one time. Mario, good morning to you, man. Can you look at ARK ETF? Sure. This is Kathy Wood's thingy. It's her shitcoin. This thingy is what you're talking about, right? Yeah, trades on ARCA. Not great. Not great, man. Oh my god. No wonder this lady's in hiding. Okay, we can just rechart the. I haven't charted this one. It must be months, but that chart is still working. But I'd like to make it look more pretty. Look, above 133, bullish. As long as you're below there, fucking ugly. Fucking ugly. Okay, so monthly closure is tomorrow, and this is looking like a breakdown. Barring any sort of heroic move today or tomorrow, back above like 115 to 120 especially, I'm leaning towards deeper corrections long term, coming into maybe end of Q1 2022, somewhere around like $90. Pretty ugly chart right there. Is it going to give you another bounce off this lower level? Probably yes. I don't think it's ready to break down just yet. I would not call it a breakdown on a daily specifically, as long as you're above $100 on a closing basis. On a weekly, I'd say 105. And short term probably does give you another bounce, but man, that is not great. Not great. But hey, if you do close above like 115 or especially 120 by the monthly closure, then at least I'd say it's it's okay for another month or so. and probably does end up being healthy. But for right now, this one's got a lot more pressure down. I just don't think it's ready to break down just yet. Man, that's a hard chart to look at. Yeah, not great right there. Not great. I can't stop farting. That's the one that Elsa couldn't stop laughing at. She also commented underneath that, Mr. Legend LEZs, "Oh my God, I can't breathe." Fuck, I got another ginger in my mouth. J3F says Sol EOC. Yeah, man. Hey, much love to you as well, sir. Yeah, we looked at Sol as well. As Bitcoin puts in another $100 rally right there, doing its thing. And Sol, what are you doing? What are you doing? Again, solving itself at exactly the right moment. And going back to Mr. Goofy Dude, another example of why, just having your stop losses like a stop market below the range lows just not very wise. You get several wicks below this region, but it's not broken down just yet. And guess what? We're about to confirm regular drives of bullish divergence right here. Let me see how many videos I recorded for today, because maybe I do one on this one as well. We haven't done one on Solana in a long time. It's the 29th. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we could do this. All right. Here we have Solana, symbol SOL, versus the dollar. We haven't done this one in a long time. It's just been trading sideways in our range as we do see volatility contraction, but there is now something of particular interest, of which we do have potential regular drives of bullish divergence being confirmed if we do close here or higher by end of day, let's say above 205. At that point, I would be looking for another retest around your range highs, that being 225 to maybe even 230. However, I'd still hold off on saying that this one's resolved, so validation of basically another test towards 250 and probably beyond. And at least until you close a daily above your range highs, about 131.5, or a wick higher than your 21st November highs. Until then, sideways here is okay. It's better for the blue loss and not, obviously, but I would call a range breakdown with a daily closure below about 189, looking for, moves down to your prior major lows, or sorry, well, your prior lows from your prior ranges at about 178 in this case. I think the weekly at that point would start to look pretty damn bad. In fact, the weekly still looks pretty damn bad right here, to be honest with you. Multiple drives of bearish divergence come off the highs. If this one does take a leg down, I don't think it's going to stop at like 178. I think it's going to eventually go to like 158 to 160 or so. But for right now, it's still, I guess I'd give it a chance so long it does hold the range. That should be more healthy than not. And we do see several things within this market holding the range and also resolving the range to the upside. So I'm inclined to say that it probably does that. Lower term timeframes are primed for a little bit of upside continuation here. 4-hour Stokes above 188. Hourly is going to be flippy floppy, but 204 is the magical number right there. 12-hour is going to be up from the from the bearish control zone at 187, so looking good right there as well. Daily will also freshly cross up today above 203, so I would like to see the daily bullish divergence confirmed. At that point, I'd just be looking for a move to the top side of your range. I would not call a break to the top side of your range just yet. Until then, it's going to be okay for the short-term blue laws here. I just don't want to see the bottom of that range break. And on a 4-hour, if I'm looking at this range, I'd be using back on over here about 180 to judge if it breaks or not. And lower term timeframes are showing a continuation of bounce here for what it's worth again. So probably easy to watch Bitcoin in this case, but hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Solana, sir. Okay, and also we are going to after this moment, we're not going to take any more super chats, so we're obviously going to get to everyone before this moment, but we do have to shut them off at this moment. Okay. So everything that comes within a minute, because if you send it right now, then it's going to take a few seconds anyways. But it's just these streams are. I appreciate it. I mean, this is insane. I mean, we almost have 2,000 likes on this fucking video. That is wild. It's never been that high ever. What is going on here? What is actually going on? This is just insane. Anyways, I got on to the next one. David says, "Hey Krown, I'm all right, man. Thank you for asking. Alchemy Pay. It would be really helpful if you included a ticker on this, because I'm not familiar with. I'm just gonna type it in, Alchemy. If I can. There we go. All right. Well, it is there, and I believe this is it, and it's actually quite good. It's actually quite good, at least on the 4-hour. Let's go to a daily. Yeah, daily's pretty good as well. Chugging its way along here in this sideways consolidation that is to be considered healthy. I'm actually going to write this one down as well. Okay, let's see. Pay this on Coinbase as well. It can't be that bad, I guess. Would still like to see it actually break officially above 10 cents on a daily, and then I'd be looking for a run towards your prior highs, and in this case probably beyond. Invalidation on short-term bullishness below about 8.6 cent. On a 4-hour closure. Until then, this one's trending on all time frames right now. I think that this one's probably going to give a move either today around US Open or tomorrow. This is actually quite prompt right there. Let me just take another sippy sip of this. Ooh, it's good. There we go. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Hey, thanks for that, Chuck91. Appreciate that, man. Noah Culp says, perform or deep. Is that a request for a shitcoin? Let's see. Also, I see a lot of people are joining the channel here as well. That's really, really awesome. I should also let you know, you probably don't even know this because I don't even fucking talk about it, but there is, for the people who are subscribed to the YouTube channel. So if you in like the actual YouTube subscription for people to or the membership on the YouTube channel, which is like actually just on YouTube, not on the Krown Chain application. So don't email our lovely support girls for that. But there is a very basic but streamlined like TA 101 playlist that is there for you, and I just want to make sure that the people actually who are members right now, they know that, so that they can actually watch it. But welcome to the K, Mr. Jordan Weber. I don't see Performer Deep there. I don't know if that's a thing or if it's a request. I don't see any ticker, but nor do I see time frame, so I'm just going to move on. Jack says Ethereum Bitcoin 4 hour on daily. I think we already got this one kind of earlier, and I did record it, so we're probably good there. Maybe I'll just briefly go into it just for Mr. Jack. Looking good on the 4 hour actually. Oh, what do we see? Hidden bullish evidence right there, right around the edge of the bullish control zone. 4 hour jewel is up, and 4 hour volatility is on the ground. Just want to see a break actually above 7.58, basically 7.59 million satoshis, and looking for a continuation basically around your prior range highs on a daily, which is actually around 8 million satoshis. So I think that this one's very much ready right now. I think early December extremely likely, very, very likely for this one. Let's see. Let me take another sip of this, and then we'll get into XRP from Mr. Asul. There we go. Bringing my throat back. All right, sweet. XRP, I have this one on my list, I do believe. Yep, 99 cents. Okay, so when it comes to XRP, like, you know, if I'm going to be looking at most things as probably pulling through, it's going to be very unwise to be bearish on XRP, even though it certainly is relatively weak. So I have to say the same thing that I kind of typically say for a lot of these charts, in the sense that, look, if Bitcoin shows any weakness, meaning Bitcoin back down to 55 or even 56,000 bucks, you're going to see XRP take a nice dumble, very likely down to like 84, 85 cents or so. And that's going to look, I mean, I'd still be looking for lows around that region, to be fair. But this one, you know, definitely relatively weak. Do we potentially have a higher low right here in comparison to this? On like a 2-day, probably yes. But again, I just don't get excited about anything that looks like this until you're back above at minimum 120. Above there, yeah, things start to look good, and, you know, should go to the monthly, because we are going to close in the monthly tomorrow. And, you know, holding above this region right here is good. I mean, again, long term, this thing will very likely fall through to the upside. It's been a laggard. It's been relatively weak. There's been several other things that have moved while this thing has been going sideways at best. So, you know, that's kind of how I look at it right now. It's probably going to end up being okay. Again, whatever Bitcoin does, XRP will follow, but if Bitcoin moves to the upside, it probably doesn't follow as much. Bitcoin moves to the downside, it will overperform to the downside, as you very likely know, and I'd be looking towards a move towards, you know, mid to low 80s essentially. Cool. Oh, you're looking at it versus Ethereum? Oh dear Lord, this is even more bizarre. Wow. Okay.
Oh God! Oh God!
Aesop says, can you talk about traditional markets and its impact on crypto, especially with the new flu? Okay, so can you talk about traditional markets and its impact on crypto? So basically, my sort of theory on the markets right now, and it's not just my theory, I'm sure other people have thought of this as well, is that we are in a liquidity bubble, meaning that right now is the easiest time in history to get access to free cash, essentially. Interest rates are incredibly low. The Fed is literally injecting billions into the reverse repo markets. And that obviously has a tangential flow into all markets, not just, you know, traditional markets, but of course, Bitcoin as well. Is it really a hedge on inflation? Maybe, you know, maybe hasn't really been tested too much yet. Assets are a hedge on inflation for what it's worth right now, and Bitcoin is an asset, as is general stocks. So in general, we see these markets move together on the macro scale. So as long as traditional markets are bullish, which I think traditional markets are going to be bullish as long as interest rates are obviously zero, basically, and people are getting free money, and, you know, they're injecting just billions of dollars into the market every fucking day. I mean, that is just insane. that's probably going to be good for Bitcoin. If that starts to stop, then probably all markets correct, and Bitcoin's probably going to correct more than traditional markets. So,
Sir, whose
what?
super chat is this?
This is OG Aesop. Yep. Yeah, I really don't think it's more complicated than that, or at least if it is, I'm not the person to explain it because it's over my head. I mostly just look at charts, and what I can tell you is that generally speaking, on the macro scale, these markets are correlated with each other. On the micro scale, it seems like Bitcoin doesn't like to follow as much to the upside and definitely likes to follow to the downside versus traditional markets. Dali,
Okay,
yes,
but the one who you did before, also Seraphic,
yeah.
he said he requested XRP cash and not USD.
I got it. Dahlia the Golden Doodle. Man, that is just still a really gorgeous dog. Loop ring LRC on the 4-hour and daily. Sure. Okay, LRC. USD. There we go. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Oh no, sorry, I was looking at a monthly. But still really good here. Okay, remember we looked at this one last time? Actually, I'm going to record this one as well. Here we have loop ring symbol LRC versus the dollar, and we have been following up on this one for the past few weeks here. Called a correction at the current highs at about $4 to $4.20. We got that correction all the way down to $2, so about a 50% move. But this is actually, as we said last week, probably going to end up being okay, or at least for right now, it is not bearish. As long as it holds this range right here. Oh, dear Lord. That's not the range I'm looking for. Okay, range highs, range lows, something like this. Basically a range low is like 2.25. As long as it holds that, this is more of a bullish setup than not. Do I think that it's going to be resolved today? Probably not. No, I think that it does consolidate a little bit more. Short-term timeframes are actually showing some upside for what it's worth right now. 4-hour hidden bullish divergence come off the lows, and we do see, probably a short-term target maybe back to like $3.30, maybe even $3.50. I would still refrain from getting super excited about this thing for an upside resolution as long as you're below about 375. Above there, I do look for this one to go on another macro tear, I guess. I mean, that's just insane. I guess next targets above there would be about 4.25 upon validation, and looking somewhere between there and about $5 or so. I would invalidate this one as a long-term bullish setup. Below, again, 245 would be concerning, but technically speaking, it would be 215 is the area to watch. Until that happens, it's okay. Sideways here is good for the Bulos, and short term it does show a little more upside than downside. So I'm burping up my ginger filled tea. Anyways, daily Stokes are going to cross down below about 344. Not super problematic. I mean, still more corrective on the higher term time frames. 4 hours straight up. 12 hours probably also fresh crossing up above 290. Weekly never went down. Just general continuation. And keep in mind that the monthly is closing tomorrow, and the monthly very likely implies that you will see new all-time highs, maybe December, probably December, January. That doesn't mean that it can't pull back at all. I mean, it can pull back down to like $1.50, which would be obviously a big move, but I wouldn't look for that pullback, especially as long as you're above that 220-ish region on a daily. Until then, sideways is good for the Bulas. I just don't think it's ready particularly yet. Maybe we do have some hidden bullish divergence. No, we do not actually bacon over there, so fair enough. Still a little bit more sideways. I'd wait for validation on this one, but it does have a rather good setup, and this is, typically a good sign right there. So hopefully that's helpful, and there you go for LRC, sir. All right, let's polish this one off. Ugh. At it again. Yeah, we do have to do these chats and orders for anyone who's new here, so please understand that if you chatted like more recently, it's probably going to take a while to get to you. Cool. James McKenzie says, hey Elsa, any chance I can have my super chat covering Firo after your last stream went down? Yeah, actually, I'd actually be very happy to do that, and apologies for that, man. Yeah, Firo. F-I-R-O. Got it. This is a new one for me. Can't say I've ever seen this one before, but yeah, definitely a laggard in this market, but we do see most things kind of holding it up, right? Wouldn't get too excited about this one on the daily, as long as you're below essentially your range highs, which is coming in for about $10 even. In fact, short-term time, in the more short-term over here, yeah, we got a slew of higher lows. Short-term, I'd like to see it pop back above about 842, and then I'd be looking for another run at your high side range. Wouldn't imply a break, but very likely a test around there. Short-term time for like a 4-hour, very likely implying at least a move towards, about 840 or so. So I do think it's going to give you another test to the top side of the range. I'd like to see a closure on a daily above about $10, and then yeah, it probably does reclaim somewhere around its like, you know, mid to late May highs, which would be about $13.5, $14 or so over time. Invalidation on short-term bullish setups below 707 very easily. Until then, you know, probably takes its time. Not relatively strong, certainly, but you know, it's market analysis right now over individualistic analysis, of course. BK says CRV. Yeah, let's follow up on this one. So I think CRV hit both of our first targets there. So our target number 1 and target number 2. Yep. So first target was your prior highs right here. Continued above there. Basically hit very, very close to that one. About 10 cents off, it looks like. Right now correcting, but so much value. Oh, it's actually just retesting this. Actually, that was not meant to be exactly like this, by the way. But I do remain looking at this one as generally good as long as you're above 415 on a full hour. Until then, short-term sideways is good here. I do think that you're going to test around 4.5 or maybe even 430 again. That's completely fine. But I would be looking for local lows on short-term timeframes around those regions, and very likely a move back up towards 540 or so. Long-term, I still like this one. It's broken above its macro range highs, so I do think that this is more or less of a formality here, and I do think that this one does continue up towards, you know, at least another try towards $6.50, and long-term, maybe mid to late December. I mean, I don't really see too much in the way from like at that point $9 to $10 more long-term. Again, that's probably a lot further away, to be fair. How does the monthly look right now? Monthly, not really much to be going off of, but obviously getting above your prior highs in April is going to be good. So that'd be the next thing that I want to see. Again, more of a formality here. I do think that this one generally trades sideways and up, assuming that the invalidation is not hit. Mr. Soul 070. Yep, we got Solanas, and I recorded it as well, so all good right there. Have you considered having a crypto cave meetup? We could, but masks only, sir, and put that fucking hand lotion on as well. Mr. D says, hey, Krown, what's up, man? Watched all your recent videos. Sweet. Since we are above 57,000 bucks, so let's go to the moon with LRC. Already got that one, but what's up, Mr. D? And smash the like button, people. I like that as well, man. Appreciate it. And we are officially at 2,000 likes now. This is a new record. Unbelievable. What the fuck? Who would have known talking about dildos on the internet is that is just insane, man. Again, I want to say a major thank you to everyone out there. That is just wild. But yeah, we already got LRC there. I did record it as well. And I again, sideways there is very, very good. Very strong chart, actually. That would be one of the relatively strong, certainly. Relatively strong. Ryan McDonald says, hey, mate, just showing some love. My fucking man. Hey, yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. There you go. Taking this break from the charts to educate myself. Sweet, man. So you're finding some value in the psychological playlist. Awesome, man. I really like doing that one. So if you ever have questions, shoot them my way, because I need more inspiration for topics there. And that'd be really helpful. And there's a selfish altruism, right? It's selfish for me because I want more topics. It's altruism because it hopefully helps some other people out there, perhaps even you. That's awesome, man. Nuke Text is FTM on the daily. We already got that one earlier. Is your hair bullish? It looks a little more tame today, but is your hair bullish? Bull hair, baby. Yeah, we got FTM earlier, so I believe that one was still looking sideways to me. And I think we recorded that one as well. Maybe. I forget. Super Guli, CRO. Yep, we got that one as well, so all good there. Orlando Gavin says, can you please look at Super? Yeah, we haven't done that one. So this is Elia's shitcoin right here. Let's see what he's got. See what this one's looking like. I remember last time we looked at it, it was quite good. Monthly actually is very, very good right there. About to close above your prior range highs. So that is, well, generally going to be looked at as quite strong. 5-day, good. I'm bullish on this thing as long as you're especially above a $1.40 daily. Same thing. I'm bullish on this thing more immediately as long as above about a $1.50. So that's my invalidation right there. Should have some hidden bullish evidence here as we did make lower lows on RSI. It's not confirmed a local low here just yet, according to Caratex RSI. It will above 178 and then imply another move back to the top side of your daily range at about $2. $2 is where I'd be looking for to get excited. So invalidation, again, below about $1.50 on a daily. It's a little more concerning, implying moves back down to 135. And I'd be looking for validation to, you know, the next major targets actually on this one. Basically around $2.60 to maybe even $3 over time upon validation above $2. This is quite good, actually. This is quite good. Again, this consolidation is very mature here. We are seeing BBWP trending down, you know, towards basically single digits right there. So I don't think it has too much more long to go in this consolidation, but is shaping up to be rather well. And of course, you know, can't hit higher lows as well. Hopefully that was helpful, sir. Mr. Micah, appreciate that, man, but I don't see nothing.
No, there is that below.
Again, Katarina, we have to remind you that we do these in order, and there's many people before you, so we will get to you once we get to your name. I do apologize. I know that's a 9. What?
That's for our mic.
Oh, okay. He's looking for bat. Okay, gotcha. Basic attention token. You know, everyone goes through the same way. I understand that can be annoying and frustrating, but it is just the way that we do things. As you know, I think that's the fairest way to do it. Anyways, bat's breaking out right here. That's breaking out right here. I do have a measure move much higher, I guess, because I've already done this one. That's pointed up towards about 230, looks like, probably over the next couple weeks here, maybe even sooner rather than later. Weekly, I imagine, closed. Yeah, it did close above as well. Yeah, I'm looking for this one to make legs up here towards $2, and more long term, maybe in late December, early January, about $3. In validation, of course, below 1.25. Don't think it gets hit, but fair enough. You know, always need to have something like that. Short-term timeframes, a little bit of consolidation right here is fine. I only invalidate this on the short-term timeframes below about 134. Until then, good. Cool. Jack says Matic versus Ethereum. Okay. All right. Let's see how this one's doing. So we're talking about 2 altcoins against each other. I do think it's put in a low right here. It's not. We don't really have much to be going off of, but this would be a major higher low. Oh, this is a 4-hour. Jesus Christ. Do we have any other charts on this one? Maybe this. Yeah, here we go. Let's go to a daily in this case. I do think it is put in a bit of a complex low right here. You do have your first higher low in a while. I think it's going to take a while, but I would get a lot more excited on a daily back above 42,835 butyrols or whatever that number is, and look for moves back around your October highs, and that's where things get a lot more interesting for Matic specifically, and that does kind of line up with its charts setup right there too. Let's see. What the fuck crypto says, can you try Hive? I can try it. Let's see. Hive USD. Okay. On Binance, and yeah, pretty good here. I think that I guess we charted this one out before. You're at the 2.618, so consolidation is to be expected right there. Short term, it is looking like it's going to give another try back around your closing highs at 2 3/4. I still would refrain from getting excited about general continuation as long as you're closing below about $3, even on the 4-hour, or even on a daily as well. But upon validation of that, I am looking for moves up towards $3.50 and $4. Fucking strong right there, I guess. I would invalidate this one below about 185. Until then, short-term sideways is good for the Bulos, and short-term it is showing, you know, another test towards the upside of the range, so should have a chance there. Not bad. Bad Fox's opinion on 6-month to 1-year outlook on Wonderland. This thing hasn't even been, I doubt it's even been around for 6 months. Oh god, no base parent as well. I guess we got to look at I guess first Bitcoin or something. What's my 6-month outlook on this chart? Well, it generally goes up and to the right, so probably good, but I have no fucking idea, man. This thing's barely been around. It's been around for a year, so I guess that's better than not, but there's really not much to make out of this, man. I'm sorry. I don't really have a good idea on this chart. Maybe we can look at it versus Ethereum or something. Maybe that's going to have more history, or hopefully it's good. I mean, this is obviously an uptrend, but really not going off of much here, man. I'm sorry. I don't have a good answer for you, unfortunately. I can tell you what you already know. It's an uptrend, probably looking higher over time. Just look for trend continuation, but I don't feel confident in that statement, nor do I think it's appropriate for me to speak out of turn here when I really should be saying a healthy amount of no's. Proper answer, man. It's a very new thing, man, and it doesn't chart against the US dollar, it looks like, either, so that's difficult. Richard says, hey man, all good, brother. I can finally go to bed. Gay for TA, baby. My fucking man. 6:45 a.m. Holy shit. That's that's past my wake up time. All right, there we are. Now we're at Katarina. Katarina's looking at Cart. Oh, of course you're going to ask about a shitcoin, aren't you? All right, Cartesi. Where the fuck do you find this thing? All right, well, maybe I don't judge it first. It's probably going to be okay here, to be fair. Most things in this market are pulling through, and this one is putting in a bit of a complex low right here at about 88 to 89 cents or so. Would still not get too excited about this thing as long as below about $1.20, but this is probably fine. You're seeing this correction come on declining volatility. Short term, I imagine you're probably looking for some upside tests. Yeah, I'm probably looking for a short term move to like 109, 110 region. On the D band, what the fuck is on the D band? I don't know what that means, but look, short term, I'm looking for a short term move to the upside, like 109, 110 region, and then I'd look for a move basically around 140 if you do validate above 120. I'd only invalidate this as a good setup below about 88 cents on a 4-hour. Until then, it's probably going to be okay. Not going off of much here, but it is okay, at least for the history that we do have, which goes back to the ripe old time of September. Not much, but fair enough. It ain't bad right there. Hopefully that was helpful, and thank you for the patience as well. Hey, all good, Stephen Mitchell. Appreciate that, man. Cairo Man says stars USD. Okay. Oh my God, we still have a shit ton more comments as well. This is insane. This is too much, man. FTX. Wow. Moon. Does look like it's getting ready for a pullback. You do see some bearish divergence here on the 4 hour. Probably look for this one to correct a little bit further to the downside, like $17.30, $17.50. Daily, long term, probably still good. Short term, more corrective. I'm not really going off of much on this one, but if I did have to call it, I would say short term a little more corrective. I don't really want to get bullish on this one, I guess, and this is not even helpful, but on a move past your prior highs, it's not helpful. I'm really not going off much here. It's very, very new. Very, very new, sir. But I am looking a little bit more corrective. What's up, CryptoMo? CryptoMo says HBAR, my good man, hey man, all good for the rest of the year. Again, well, okay, for the rest of the year, you're probably looking at like a weekly is what you think. But I think what you're really asking is like, what?
Can you tell Dana Karkoda that if you send a super chat after we announce that?
Who, Dana?
Dana Karkoda, because he says, give me money back, you scammers.
Hey, Dana, you got to contact YouTube, and we made the announcement, sir. Look, we're not trying to fucking like take your money and not give you an analysis, but we did make an announcement. Look, you can contact YouTube. I'm sure that you can do that. But that's a very aggressive statement for someone who's just trying to fucking help, man. I think that we've been very clear with what we're doing here, man. So yeah, this is probably not a good channel for someone like you, though. Anyways, HBAR. Again, more corrective here than not to me. I'm assuming that we do have bearish divergence on the weekly. Yeah, we do. 1, 2, 3 drives. Next target to the downside would be about 25.5 cents in this case. Short term, however, it is bouncy, so I suppose it will have a chance here. Kind of similar to Bitcoin, right? It's like you do see the higher term time frames have a setup for more downside continuation, but short term it is bouncy. Would be looking for a move towards 37 cents or so. 5 days, a little bit more confidence inducing, I guess. But what time frame? Okay, let's just go to the monthly. If this thing does close this month above 30 cents, I probably do look for at least a sideways December and then maybe closes around 40 cents December. Long term, this is good, but if you're just looking for like end of December, you can't really do something like that. I'm just generally going to be bullish on this thing long term if you close this month above 30 cents. That's what I feel a lot more confident with. Could you play out a pullback in between there after a short term move to the upside? Yeah, absolutely. Not bearish on this thing by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, bearishness is below about 22 cents, but until then, fair enough. Anyways, must be a Californian, says Marcus. Yeah, man, just completely impatient and just ridiculously rude. It's like fucking hell. Anyways, Orlando, Gab, can you please look at Super? Yep, we just got that one. It's I still like it there, just taking a little more time, but overall good setup. Ryan Garrettson says, just got the Neo program. Nice, sweet, man. We'll see you in there. And will you do XRP? We kind of already did that one as well. Again, gonna do whatever the market does, but if Bitcoin shows any weakness, I'm looking at 85, 84 cents or so. Until then, short term, I think it was more bouncy than not. Yeah, it's more bouncy than not right here. But I don't get excited about anything that looks like this, especially as long as you're below about $1.10 on a daily, and then long term below about $1.30 or $1.25. Those are the major areas. And long term, this one probably is fine. I mean, the monthly, it's kind of similar to the last chart. It's consolidated right here. I do think it's probably going to give a try in December, maybe January. I missed Ethereum. Can you give a quick recap? Good above 45.50. I'll post a video on it later. Jesus says, can you check out Track? To me, its only major listing is on Coinbase. Oh, dear Lord. All right, let's see. Let's see what sort of shitcoin exchange. Oh, it's on Bittrex as well. This can't be that bad. Well, big wick right there. But if we go down to a daily, it's just in a liquid shitcoin, it looks like. Look, I'm not bearish on a chart that looks like this as long as you're above $1.25. Or at least like it looks like my prior chart. This one is still working, but I'm going to redo it just for this. 1.25, as long as you're above there, sideways is good. Short term, I'm probably looking for a retest of the top side of the range, about 215, maybe even as much as 240. Above 240, I do look for this one to go on a new all-time high party, actually. And this one does have a decent amount of history right here. So let's just see if you do validate above the top side condition there, where would I be looking towards? Somewhere around about a 420 to 430 over time. Look quite good. Would take time, obviously, and I do think this one's a lot more likely to trade sideways here for a while than anything else. But that's what I'd be looking at for that one. Hey, what's up, Style Series? Oh, nice. Appreciate that, man. Elsa's translating for me. Ocean USD. Okay, I remember you used to ask about this thing back in 2018, I think. Another OG of the cave, and look at this one. It's finally, actually, yeah, it's actually finally working its way back up. Not bad. Did close the weekly above its range highs. Great. Volatility starting to tick up right here. Weekly RSI also back in the bullish control zone. I'm looking for this one to fall through and fill that last wick up to about 140, maybe even continue back up to your May highs. Then, most things in this market are kind of going for another run after that. Invalidation, as always, going to be below about 93 cents on a daily. Until then, this one's actually trending all time frames. It looks like quite good. Northwest says Gala, please. Okay. Wow, we are still nowhere near the bottom. This is insane. This is just too much. Let's see. Gala over here.
If you need more tea, just tell me.
I think I'm fine for right now. Gala, short-term range, as long as it, oh, God damn it. Short-term range, as long as it does hold. I mean, this is good. It's kind of similar to loop ring in a sense, right? We did get we called a high right here. We got a correction down. I was saying I think around 53 to 54 cents. We almost got there to 58 cents. Short-term, is it going to test the top side of the range highs again at like 80 cents? Probably yes. I'll still be waiting for a closure above there before calling general continuation, because this one is really fucking hot here. I think it's a lot more likely to trade sideways for a while. After one more test towards the top side of this range, it probably fills it out a little bit more. I don't really get bearish on this thing again below about 54 cents or so, but until then, sideways is good for the Bulas. Probably looking for resolution in December. Mr. Alonzo says XRP. Yep, we already got that one a couple times. Jazz Mazu says aloha, Mr. Krown. Aloha, sir. What time is it over there, by the way? I'm curious. Love your hey, thanks, man. Sweet. Oh yeah, on yeah, sweet, man. VeChain. Okay, yeah, no one's asked about VeChain today. Yeah, this one's definitely fallen out of favor as well. But it still holds on to the line of peace and prosperity right there, I guess. So I probably am looking for a short-term bounce on this one. Yeah. 4-hour has multiple drives of bullish evidence, probably even all the way up to a 12-hour. Yeah. So I'm looking for a bounce, probably continuation of 12.5 cents or so. As long... Can you ban? Yeah, you can ban him, of course. I mean, if this guy's just being a weird person and just not understand. Look, man, you have to understand like what we're doing here. If you're not going to be a normal person, then or Dana, then you're obviously going to get kicked. It's weird. It's very, very bizarre. Anyways, looking at this one right here. Look, as long as you do hold the lows, I mean, it is just one massive reaccumulation. It's just I don't think it's ready anytime soon. Whilst I am looking for a bounce off this region, probably even back up to 12.5 cent or so. I don't think that this one's like in a good day, in like a position of power on the daily, as long as you're below about 14.5 cents or so. And long term, I'd get very excited above 19.25, of which this one very likely does do it over time. The question to me is, do we lose this current level? If we do, I'm looking towards 9.8 cents daily. What would be indicative of downside continuation? Full hour closure below 1078 in this case. Until then, I am looking for this one to bounce here and probably put in a higher low here and probably just work its way sideways and up. But it's going to take I do think a long time at minimum in comparison to most things in this market. Let's see. Lauren Gontero says RNDR. Okay, this is render. All right, render. Okay. See what this one is on KuCoin, and what do we have here? Another sideways consolidation at the highs, which is good. I mean, it's obviously it's relatively strong, but kind of similar to loop ring and the other one that we just saw. Probably trades a little more sideways here for a while. I wouldn't get bearish on this thing until it goes below about 570 on a 4-hour closure. Until then, sideways is good for the Bulas. This one is actually not showing a short-term move to the upside for what it's worth, but again, sideways here is good for the Bulas. I would get excited above about 8.25, looking for. In this case, I mean, this one's probably already hit all of the mega targets here. Actually, no. A validation above that region, about 8.25. I would be looking for moves past $10 basically, but I think it's going to take some time, and that's assuming that the invalidation is not hit. If the invalidation is hit, I'm looking for moves down to $4.85 to $4.50 first before anything else. But again, sideways is most likely here, to be fair. Cool. All right, Casper. Oh man, they're all new ones. Alan Calderon says Casper. All right, say yes, PR. Let's see. Casper Inu, is that what you're looking for? Oh no, you're probably looking at this one right here. Sure. Good. Trending right now on the 4. Trending on the 4 hour. Daily trending as well. Actually, this one's very, very good. Actually, this one's really, really good right here. I want to write this one down as well. Sweet. And basically, yeah, actually did break above your range highs on the weekly, it looks like, or on the daily and the weekly by extension. Yes. I'm looking for this one to trade sideways and up from here towards 29, 30 cents or so over the next couple weeks. Trending all time frames, invalidation below about 17 cents. Very fucking good. Very fucking good right there. Simply Gain says CRV, BTC, high term time. Okay. We looked at it versus the dollar earlier. I'm imagining versus Bitcoin probably pretty good as well. Weekly, Good. Did not break out on the weekly, but very, very close right there. I think it's more of a formality. Volatility taken up like this as you do test the tops of the range after a very long form accumulation with higher lows in place. I'm very likely going to look for it to follow through and probably test up somewhere towards 17 to 18,000 long term, that is. Gabber says, can you check out Floki? Sure, man. Again, guys, we had to shut off the super chats from like 20 minutes ago, or sorry, 30 minutes ago now. We really can't do any of the ones that were submitted after 30 minutes ago. I do apologize. I know that it's annoying for people who are new here and who are not familiar with that, but we do have to keep it that way. Anyways, what do we see right here? Okay, so you're looking at Floki, no time frames given. We got a shitcoin and no time frames given. Probably short term looking for continuation towards 18,000, whatever the fuck that number is. You know, I would be very bearish on this one with any sort of a daily closure below 13,100, whatever the fuck that number is as well. Basically right here, below there, bad. Above here, good. Short term looking for continuation towards about 18,000 in this case, and it very likely does continue short term. We do have bullish evidence on the daily, so looking okay right there. Let's see. One more homie says style series, top quality internet project. What?
Didn't you do Casper?
Yes, we did Casper. All right, Nord USD. Okay, Nord USD. Okay, Nord Finance. Okay, Kcoin. Let's see. What the fuck is this thing, man? 4. I guess you got your higher lows right there, man. But I really would like to see this one get above 420, a great number, before calling this one a major low. At that point, I'd be looking for this one to reclaim around your middle of November highs, about 5.25. Until then, I guess I do treat this one as good as long as you're above basically the low side of your range, but not the most obvious chart right here. If you're looking at a weekly, does look a lot more on the bear side on the weekly, to be fair. So if you do lose 310, I'm looking for big moves down towards, you know, probably 270 to 275. But for now, sideways is good here. Just want to see it above those regions, and that's where things start to look a lot better. Cool. All right. Chick89 says, I received the immutable airdrop from Gods Unchanged, chance of a $50 token. Okay. I think that's this ticker right here. I don't know what the ticker is, man. Could you please write the goddamn ticker? Gods. Okay, it's this thing here. Great. Let's see. Could it go to 50? Chance of a $50 token, sir? It's trading at $5 fucking right now. Are you out of your goddamn mind? I'm sorry. Look, I say this with respect, but who the fuck is telling you that these things are going to 10x from here? It's ridiculous, man. Holy shit. Who's selling the fucking hopium on a 4-hour $5 name that's been around for 2 weeks? No, 1 month. 1 fucking month, man. Look, I do think that this one very likely does have upside. Am I calling a $50 fucking move? Absolutely fucking not. Jesus Christ. Do you know how unlike that is from here? Very unlikely. I think that at most this thing will see around $20 in the most bullish environment possible ever, which I wouldn't count on. Look, if you take out your prior highs from early November, maybe you see a $10 move, maybe $15. I think that's more reasonable. $50 though? What the fuck? Chance of I received the immutable airdrop from Gods Unchained. Okay, so you just got free tokens. Any chance of a $50 token? Man, I don't know about you. If you need to pay rent, I wouldn't count on it anytime soon. Hey, maybe it does happen, but not anytime soon, if at all. That's a fucking 10x. Reef Rider says, good morning, sir. What's up, man? Long time lurker here. All good. And welcome and good to meet you, man. Can you take a look at B Pro? Yeah, we haven't looked at this one in weeks. Maybe even months, actually, at this point. B Pro Network. Yeah, now I see why. Hanging on its lows for a while here. But I do think that it probably, you know, most things in this market are probably trying to put in at least short-term lows right here and does something like this. I'd get very bearish on this thing below yesterday's wick low, essentially looking for a retest of 5.7 cents, or is that 0.5 of a cent? Something like that. Until then, short-term probably does put in a move towards 0.9 of a cent. And then above your 26th of November high, I'd be looking for this one to reclaim back around almost 1 cent or so. Still long term, I wouldn't get excited about it until you're back above about 1.5 cents. That would look really, really good. Probably does pull through here, but just be aware of where the invalidations are. Most things in this market are moving together, and weekly does look kind of shitty, to be fair. So if Bitcoin shows weakness, this thing will get absolutely fucking nailed. But you know, assuming that Bitcoin can pull through here, which is not a given right now as it stalls at 57.5. You know, if it shows any weakness, this thing's going to get absolutely fucking wrecked. Yeah. Let's see. How about CHC, says Eli. Okay. This Chili's. Chili's on Binance. Yeah, good. As long as you're above 41.5 cent, good, or 42 cents. Daily, I'd call a breakdown below about 39.5 cents. So that was weekly versus daily right there. Resolution to the upside or validation to the upside above 54.5 cent, looking for basically another move towards your prior highs at 67 to 70 cents or so. Generally a good setup here long term though. Generally a good setup right there. So hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for Chili's, sir. Write that one down as well. Let's see. Michael Saldivar says KNC USD. Okay, let's see what this thing is. All right, Kyber Derp quick crystal. It's okay. It's putting a slew of higher lows right here on low volatility. So this correction is probably getting close to an end. Something like this is what I'm looking for. Upon validation above your top, basically above last week's high, which is 245, I'm looking for this one to trade back up towards your May highs, which in this case is actually not your all-time highs, but around them. But that'd be like $3.50. Where did validation on something like this be? Below about 160 in this case. Kind of not too helpful right there. It's rather far away, but as long as you hold that, still remain in your uptrend. Buster Wolf says, please, sir, do we have hopium for 200,000 Bitcoin? Well, yeah, there's hopium for that, but the question is when. So is it by the end of the year? Fuck no. Or I'd say it's quite unlikely. That's the more reasonable way of saying, but I think very unlikely, sir. Very unlikely by end of year. Long term? Yeah, probably. Chris Biolo says, thank you. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Nice positive message. Michael Saldivar's back. He's looking at OXT. Okay, more shitcoins. Let's see what we got. Same as many of the other charts we've seen today. Again, as long as you hold your lows here at about 46.5 cent, I do look at this as trend in motion right now and putting in your next major higher low, getting ready for a move back up towards your May highs, 66 cents or so. Until then, short-term timeframes actually put in a bit of a low here as well, looking for a short-term move up to 58.5 or so. I'd only get bearish on this thing below about 46.5 cent. Let's see. Frozen Fire says CGG follow-up from last week's analysis, short to medium-term targets following the breakout. Well, they're going to not be different than last week, man. And it looks like they probably already broke. Yeah, they've already fallen through here. Yeah, man. The target was 280 to 285. Still en route to that. Long term, maybe late December or such. $4 if things get really crazy, but invalidated, of course, as always, below about 2.25. Looks good. Looks pretty damn good. Hey, appreciate that, Stylix Series. I very much appreciate that, my fucking man. I really do appreciate that, man. Steve Kelly says, hey, all good, man. FTT, okay, 4 hour. All right, specifically the 4 hour on FTX token. Short term, let's see. Short term, looking for a little more continuation off that bullish divergence, probably back around $53.50 or so. Hey, again, guys, we had to shut off the super chats like 40 minutes ago. We can't do any of the ones that were submitted after then. I do apologize. I know it's annoying, but we have to be very strict with this rule. Vince says, oh my God, SHIB. Dear fucking Lord, man. Called a high on this one ages ago, and I expect it's probably still doing that, hopefully. Whereas the damn SHIB chart, maybe Coinbase. It's put in a local low here. I would be looking for a short-term move up to 41.50 or so. Still, long-term, pretty shitty. Long-term, bearish as fuck below 66.30, but short-term, yeah, a little bit bouncy there. Pariah the Boneless says, hey, man, all good, brother, all good. R-Weave, symbol AR, USD. You're making Elsa blow a gasket over there. This is like a kindergarten. Look, again, we can't do that. We can't do, like, please understand and please put yourself in our shoes. Please, just for the love of fucking God. Sorry, man. I don't want to sound unappreciative, but at the same time, we do need to be like, we do need to have some boundaries here. It's getting ridiculous. Anyways, no, we're not looking at shitcoin Litecoin, sir. It's too bad. It's a shitcoin. Look, if Bitcoin goes up, it'll go up with it. Anyways, R-Weave right here, daily range, $51 to the downside versus $75 to the upside. Looking for new all-time highs above $75, obviously, with a retest towards $100, essentially. And the more short-term following that, I get very bearish on this thing below $51. Until then, I look at this as probably a local low, but not as strong as a lot of the other names that we see in this market. But I would be looking for a short-term continuation of like $61 or so. Don't think it's going to be ready anytime soon, to be fair. And to be honest, this one actually does show more signs of sloppy toppy than not. Wouldn't be surprised. I actually do think this one probably does end up breaking down towards $46.50. But yeah, I think that this one's giving another test towards the downside of the range, $46.50. I would still be, I guess, long-term okay about this as long as you're above there, but short term, I do think that it does come back down around there. Two Dudes 16 says, oh yeah, pound yen. All right, sweet. This is my favorite forex shitcoin to trade. In fact, this one just moves like this one just pumps and dumps out of nowhere. Looking for weekly continuation down to 149. What is this? 149.70 to basically 150 or so. Anywhere down around there, I'd be looking for a bit of a bounce around there. Sorry, you didn't even ask about that. 4 hour, we bouncing first. Yeah, probably puts in a little bit of bounce here. Wouldn't be surprised to see it back around 152 or so. Jason says Hex on the daily weekly. Oh dear Lord, if you flip the chart, you said it's bullish to the moon. It's the top near. Please hurt my feelings. Okay, so if I flip the charts, okay, so flip the charts. Okay, I don't know if you're being serious or not, but if you do want me to flip the charts, I can give you a rather bullish analysis. If you don't want me to flip the charts, well, look, you're in the midst of a monthly reversal right here. If I'm shooting you straight, man, which look, again, I was very bullish on this thing all the way from 2 cents to 50 cents. And I've been very bearish on it ever since. I do think this one's putting in a monthly reversal right here. Again, hey, man, please, we cannot do any more of the goddamn super chats. I'm sorry, man. We really can't. You know, I'm looking for this one to come down 5 to 6 cents probably over the next 3 to 4 months, and then within a year probably down to 2 cents. This is a monthly reversal right here. There will be bounce along the way, probably even short term. I was gonna say short term it's probably gonna bounce, but I don't know, man. Look, I would invalidate this and be bullish on it back above 27.5. Until then, man, not a big fan of that chart. John Dude says block USD. All right, block USD over here. Let's see. Testing around the top side of the range. Pretty good. Pretty damn good. Actually, I'm going to write this one down as well. I just want to see this one close above 13.5 cents. We met our target over there, and then I'm looking for a retest of your all-time highs, and then very likely continuation to December towards 18.5 to 20 cents. Invalidation below 11 cents in this case. And welcome to the cave, Who Can and G Squared, my fucking man. Hearts to you as well, sir. Amadeo. Oh my God, we're actually at the bottom now. This is insane. No fucking way. 20 minutes after this is supposed to end. Bat daily weekly, putting along at 120. I think we looked at this one earlier. I think it was pretty damn good and actually breaking out maybe. Yeah, I do have targets up to about 240 or so. Let's see. So you're saying putting along at 120, targeting 240, opinion on the target. Yeah, that would be the measure move, and around the one spot 272 off of that technical structure right there. So, you know, I think that you can pull back short term, but it sounds like you're playing a high term time frame setup, so fair enough. And G Squared, my fucking man, appreciate that as well. Some nice emoticons. Faisal says, hey Krown, what's up, man? Hope all is well with you as well. Can you kindly take a look at Polka City? Sure. All right, I'm just gonna type it in over here because I don't know the. Okay, popped up, so that's good. It's a good sign, and not bad actually for a chart. In fact, quite good. Actually, in fact, quite very good. It's very bizarre. POLC. All right, there we go. Just writing that one down. Would still like to see it actually close above just this last local high right here at about 220, and then I'd be looking for extension over the next few days, maybe week to week and a half towards 2.5, 260 or so. Oh, Azul, you got me, you fuck. You got me, you damn dirty bastard. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Bear Nutrition? By the way, I'm going to send a question your way later today, I think. Good to see you, though, man. But overall, good setup right here. You know, long term, I'm not bearish on anything that looks like this as long as you're above, especially 141. Short term, you know, good. Actually, in trending motion right now with increasing volatility and all momentum also is pointed upwards. So I'm looking for continuation to about 220. Probably going to give a try. You know, early December if I had to guess. I would invalidate short-term setup below about 185 in this case. And holy fucking moly, my friends, we've actually made it to the end. Again, be aware of Bitcoin right here. We're still operating on lower highs. Yes, there are several things that do point towards maybe one more continuation drive to the upside, but if we do see a local high printed right here, we will have hidden bearish divergence of 3 drives variety, and that ain't gonna look too hot. But for right now, Bula still have a lot of things within their favor, so I would still give them a chance, of course. And you know, consolidate this level right here is not problematic. Below 56,000 bucks, that's problematic, of course. So I'm gonna be signing off now. I want to wish everyone well, and well, until next time, take care.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, then dip, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate, pause it, list it, send it, burn it, pump it, hack it, quick rename it, take it, take it, lend it, send it, swell it, sell it, flip, unflip it, see it, watch it,